morning, everyone, and welcome to a day that is going to be busy as hell because for some reason, Creative Assembly decided to just put all the things on the exact same embargo time. So here we are. Yes, I am aware of the fact that the Nagash article, which I have not actually read yet because we didn't get an early copy, is out. And I am also aware of the fact that we want to show off Skaven stuff too. So y'all are going to be eating good today because not only are you going to be getting a bunch of new Skaven news, thanks to everyone, the embargo on this battle dropping, which if you're at Gamescom, you can go play yourself, which this is the final battle of the Thanquol campaign. Of course, we won't get to see the aftermath of it, but how much do you know and not tell us? Oh, my sweet summer child. Oh, my sweet summer child. But I do also want to check out the Nagash article, because then I'll be able to chop that up and turn it into a YouTube video. So, hooray. But it's lovely to see you all. I hope you've had a good weekend. I've had a very eventful weekend. I have been busy as hell. I have been submitting various reports to Creative Assembly about like trying to do some things and trying to convince them to like make little edits and changes, as we are rather alarmingly hurtling towards the release of Lord of the End Times. You know, when they originally dropped the release trailer and I was like, oh, that's over a month away. We're gonna like have so many like boring weeks. Nah. Shit's kind of insane right now. And there's still so much to go. There's still so much to do. We are exactly 1 month away from the release of Lord of the End Times as of today. So there are 31 days and counting between us and the full release of this, which means, of course, that we've got news, lots more news over the coming weeks, and at some point in the near future, early access stuff will start, so even more news. So lots and lots to go over and to discuss. But for right now, at this exact moment in time, you know, I wish I got paid for it. That would be my one. I wish my shilling was actually profitable. That would be nice. Clearly I'm bad at it. But thank you for the bits, Tech. Short 9000, thank you for the 50 months, by the way. Good lord, thank you for all the support. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The way I'm gonna approach this is that I'm gonna start by basically just taking us into the quest battle. We get a little speech from Thanquol, because obviously it's a quest battle. So for that part, I'm basically going to mute myself. That way y'all can just enjoy the cutscene and all that jazz. Let me know, by the way, if the audio is good for the game. If y'all can hear it okay. Make sure that, you know, when we get into this, you can hear it. So let me know, just y'all let me know, is the game audible? Yeah, lots of exciting stuff to discuss. And like I said, I will mute my microphone, so that you don't have to listen to me over the game. Or I'll just be quiet, is the real answer. Berdeki, thank you so much for the 23 months. I appreciate it. How long is the quest battle? It's pretty lengthy. But after we do the quest battle, especially because we're obviously not going to jump straight into it. After the little intro, I'm going to show you all the new units. We're going to look at unit cards and stuff. We're going to look at abilities. I'm going to show you all the map, yada, 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 yada. So, this will take us a good fair minute. And then once we're done with this, we're going to go check out the Nagash article. So, we will, be doing that. Reese's Pieces, thank you so much for the 17 months. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to assume y'all can hear the game okay. Like y'all hear the music that's playing right now. Oh my god, I hate how stupid this is now. Maybe if I do this, that'll work. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to make Streamlabs behave itself. Okay. That'll work. All right. So, without further ado, there's no well, there was no audio for a second because I clicked off. You should hear audio now. I want to double check. Can y'all hear in-game audio? Y'all hear music playing? Yes, no. Yes. Okay, we're good. All right. Without further ado then, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll do this on very hard. And the little quote we have here says, "The meddlesome man-things, the stubborn beard stunts, and even the arrogant pointy ears, no doubt quivering before Thanquol's inevitable victory, had cobbled together a desperate attempt to thwart the salvo that would doom their miserable civilizations. And this is the long-denied triumph, the final battle if you're playing a Thanquol campaign. And this basically is the whole thing from the cutscene where he's firing the Morse guitar engine. So, yeah, let's get into it. So here you can see it's basically us versus the United Forces of Order. And it's going to be kind of crazy. It's a good fight. And I'm going to be quiet from this point.
Surface dwellers scramble to deny my triumph. Keep them away from my engine, you pathetic flea dregs. No one shall keep me from gnawing on the warp moon's carcass. Come, full meat, flock closer together. Make an easier target for the hail of fiery doom.
Okay, so with that, let's go over all the new unit cards and abilities and everything that you're going to be able to see that's relevant to you all. So here you can see we're going to be fighting a titanic legion of humans, elves, and dwarves. Also, I could turn Streamlabs noise back on, and I also want to welcome everyone who's here today. So thank you very much, Cosper303, Razor Dragontail, Tech 27, SS Castrated, Grim Harbinger, Rovanim, Living Legend, Razor Dragontail, Morning Crescent for all the for checking in. Good to see y'all. Is he trying to blow up the moon? Yes, and it's huge because this is the end time. So Morsalib is looming close to the world. Look at this shot. Look at this cinematic shot. Isn't this just gorgeous? So we're going to be firing this engine at that moon to destroy it so that it rains down. Green screen adjustment. Is the green screen all? Oh, well, that's microphone stuff. Y'all just have to deal with that. You'll live. But enemies outnumbering Skaven. Oh no. Oh no. But you can see here, so we've got this great ruined fortress at the back here. This is debatably Skaven Blight. I don't think this actually takes place in Skaven Blight. But, like, this is a full-size mega city in the background that is, like, how many stories is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about, like, a 8-tiered city fortress thing. And the engine is bigger than it. Like, this thing is absolutely titanic. It is massive. I love it. All right, so let's check out all the new units that we're going to be able to see over the course of this little battle. Yes, there is a big skull face on the moon because Morsalib be all spooky and shit. So starting with new army abilities we have access to. So you have the Scrutin clan stone. So this is just like the clan stones that you have when you play as any of the other clans. So if you're playing like Clan Pestilence, you have the Pestilence clan stone, etc., etc. Also, Super Ego, thank you so much for the 57 months. Really appreciate it. And Biofoot, thank you for the 57 months. Good. Yeah, thank y'all so much for running that, by the way. So the Scrutin Clan Stone says, behind the sparking eyes of a Scrutin clan member, within the shadows cast from the green jolts, the deep shadow of the horned rat lurks. So this gives hefty missile resistance to everyone that's within its range. So nice. We also have the Menace Below, and the Menace Below, you know what that is, which you only get 5 uses for this battle. So for new units, we have Thanquol, and Thanquol is up on the back of Bone Ripper. You'll notice that we have the ranged variant from Bone Ripper, because there are different variants. Because there's the ranged variant and the melee variant. He's very dramatic. So, as for what Thanquol brings to the table, so here we can, oh god, what's the, one of these buttons is the zoom button. Which one is it? Aha! So you can see old Thanquol up on old Bone Ripper. The big boy himself. Bone Ripper looks kind of small. Well, if for record, if I put regular Skaven around him, you can get a better indication of his size. He's about 3 times the height of Storm Vermin. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. Your stream alerts don't update? What are you talking about, my stream alerts? I'll keep a vague eye on it. So, for the, now better. What do you mean now better? They were, oh, the image wouldn't go away. Oh, no, it's fine. It'll take care of itself. So, what does Thanquol actually bring to the party? So for Thanquol, he has a couple of abilities. So starting with his active abilities, he has Warpstone Addiction. So Warpstone Addiction is just a buff that for 33 seconds gives him a 33% ward save that you can use 3 times throughout a battle. So that's super duper nice. He also, you'll notice that he doesn't have Dreaded 13th on his spell list, but he does have Dreaded 13th as a bound spell, which actually makes it a lot better because it's such a goddamn expensive spell. You can only usually cast it once a battle. So he gets a free version of it, so you get a free bound spell to just cause a big AoE explosion and summon some Storm Vermin. As for his actual spell list, you have Blessed with Filth, which is the poison granting spell, Warp Lightning, classic, Wither, Scorch, Plague, and Flensing Ruin. So he has a very, very solid spell list. Admittedly, I personally would have really liked it if he had got Skitterleap, but I also would have wanted Skitterleap to be reworked so that it's an actual teleport. To my understanding, Skitterleap hasn't been reworked, and it's still basically the exact same as it was, which is a bit of a shame, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm used to Thanquol always being able to Skitterleap, but the current implementation of the spell wouldn't really do a lot for him. Get out of the way, Storm Vermin, you little idiots. From there, you have all the normal stuff. When you're on Bone Ripper, you do get access to Frenzy, which is very nice. You also have the passives for both Ruin and Plague. And then he's got, you know, Encourage. He's got a little bit of Spell Mastery, so he's got a 10% bonus. Base 5% ward save, 15% missile resist, 10% spell resist, and he causes terror. You can see he's got a good amount of ammo, 60 shots of magical flaming damage. It's warp fire damage, so if he can land a consistent shot, it will really hurt. And even though this is the range variant Bone Ripper, it's still a reasonable melee combatant. Like, it's more than capable of kicking the crap out of people in a fight. In lore, is Bone Ripper comparable to a Helped Abomination? Not really. They're like, he's very big and powerful, but he's not quite at the same scale. He's just close. For other new units, we have a couple of Storm Fiends available to us for this battle. So here we've got the Doomflare Gauntlet variant. So you see they've got the big rotating gauntlets on their hands. They got little whirly helicopter blades everywhere. And you've even got the little brain babies sitting in their little baby carriers on the back that are controlling them and directing them around. For the Doomflare gauntlets, they have a very nasty stat line. They come with Frenzy as base. They cause fear, a little bit of spell resist. They do count as Molder monsters, so they are able to receive all of the buffs from like Packmasters and other characters that can buff Molder units. And they've got a bonus versus infantry, and they will just chew through any infantry. They do not care. They will annihilate almost any infantry in the game. Over here we have the Rattling Cannons. So the Rattling Cannon Storm Fiends are your medium range variant. Fun fact, they do actually shoot 3 guns, because they have 1 gun grafted into each arm, and then they also have their chest guns. And I have checked, the chest guns do in fact shoot. So they are big pew pew. Lots of pew pew. Still pretty decent at, once they're out of ammo, if you want to throw them into melee, they will chew people up. Just like regular Rattling guns, they do have suppression fire, so they lower the speed of the people they're shooting at. And here you can see like the further stats of like all of the nonsense about what all they can do and all that jazz. They are pretty good. Why can't Thanquol use Eshin magic? Because he is not an Eshin wizard. And the wizards of Clan Eshin have a very unique form of magic that they use that is passed down only within Clan Eshin, and they're super secretive about it. So Grayseers don't know how to use the lore of stealth because it's not been taught to them. It's a secret that Clan Eshin has maintained, which allows them to be a major rival of the Grayseers. This is actually supported if you read the Temple of the Serpent, which is the second novel in the Thanquol trilogy, because there's actually a Eshin sorcerer in that book who uses magic that Thanquol can't use. They have their own unique styles. What was a little weird on CA's part was making Skitterleap a spell just for that. Hey, that's good for you. That works out well. But we're not done yet for new things, because we've got the big man himself. The rat of all rats, Screech Vermin King.
Lord Screech Vermin King.
He is a hoot. Like, I adore this guy. He's a big old Vermin Lord, legendary hero. And he kicks ass and chews bubblegum like nobody's business. As far as what he brings to the table, so for active abilities, he has 3 uses of the Dreaded 13th for free, which is absolutely bonkers. Like, that is so much value. He also has his unique ability, Will of the Vermin King, which Will the Vermin King is an ability where you can... it's an AoE around him that makes all Skaven near him unbreakable, and all enemies near him get minus 16 leadership. So they're like, holy shit, give me the hell away from that thing. As far as his abilities go, for his spell list, he has Skitterleap, Warp Lightning, Death Frenzy, Vermintide, Plague, and Crack's Call. So he has 1 spell from Stealth, 3 spells from Ruin, and then 2 spells from Plague. So he's got a pretty good mix. And each of the Vermin Lords has like their own unique mix of magic lores. You could probably guess a good number of them. Oh, no. Sorry, I just hadn't got around to answering yet. Which it might be. So, if Morslib is sentient, then it is probably aligned with chaos and it desires to destroy the world. And if it desires to destroy the world, then being blown up in order to bring about the apocalypse would probably be fine with Morslib. If Morslib didn't want to be destroyed and the Skaven fired a Doom Engine at it, I think it would have had its own methods of preventing its own destruction. But I think it wanted to blow up. I think the chat on screen is also frozen, along with the Streamlabs being at like 10%. Okay, every time I look over at it, it's fine. Here, I'm going to put it over on this screen. Because every time I glance at it, it looks fine. Oh, that's interesting. It freezes. Huh. Oh, but then when I tab into OBS, it fixes. That's super weird. Okay, well, we'll just turn that off for now until I have time to fix it. All right, we'll just turn it off for now. For Screech Vermin King, some other stuff he does. So he has the Protection of the Horned Rat. For Protection from the Horned Rat, what you'll see here is that the more damage he takes, the more missile resistance he gets, and it gets up to 60% eventually. This is base for all the Vermin Lords, so they all get better resistance against shooting the more damage that they take. Then he is unbreakable, so he does not degrade like other demons. He's just flat out unbreakable. And he has a base 10% ward save, 20% physical resist, 15% missile resist, and 10% spell resist. Yeah, well, I turned it off, so it shouldn't be an issue now. Yes, I know there's a Nagash blog. I can only do so many things at a time. I cannot be everywhere at once. All right, so this quest battle is actually reasonably difficult, just because the sheer amount of stuff that the AI is going to be throwing at us. And after we finish the quest battle, we will then go into the next thing, which will be breaking down and looking at the Nagash article. From there, this isn't the only stuff we can have. We're also going to be able to spawn in additional units, but the spawn points don't show up until after the battle's already started. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get our army sorted. As you can see, we're fighting quite a bit of enemies. They start off, so we've got they've got some handgunners, they've got a steam tank, a little bit of knights. Over here, we've got quite a few archers, Aurelian Reavers, a phoenix, a moon dragon, and then the dwarfs got gyrocopters, we've got iron drakes, slayers, just all sorts, just lots of nonsense. So we're gonna be doing our best to make a mess out of these fools. Favorite new Skaven unit for me. So although I have gotten to play around with and mess with quite a few things, I have not gotten to play with every toy yet. And there are still many things that I would like to mess around with that I haven't had the opportunity to yet. So I would have to say for right now, my favorite unit is probably the Storm Fiends with... it's probably like the Storm Fiends with the mortars. Or it might just be Thanquol, actually. But, like, if I'm thinking just like a regular unit and I'm not cheating and saying, like, oh, I'm going to pick a character, then I would probably say the Storm Fiends with Poison Wind Mortars. They're pretty baller. Alright, so we're going to put Storm Vermin to block the way to our War Machines. Because basically our job is we have to protect this capture point back here. If we lose this capture point, we lose. Period. End of story. So our goal is going to be to keep it safe at all costs. We've got Plague Monks. We've got some regular Storm Vermin as well up here. We'll have Thanquol and Screech more towards the center. We've got a Hell Pit Abomination that we'll have out here. Actually, we'll probably put it on the left side. For the Slayers, we're going to want to probably rely more on infantry, so we'll put some more Storm Vermin on this side. Then we've got some Storm Fiends in this batch, and we'll put some more Storm Fiends in this batch. And then we'll put these Rattling Cannons over here to shoot at any dragons or phoenixes that come for us. And then I'm going to hit Start Battle. And after I hit Start Battle, I'm going to say, haha, pause. So you can see here, I have to survive for 450 seconds. I have to survive until the Morse guitar engine fires, which will take whatever that is, like 4 or 5 minutes. But we do have access to reinforcements once we get to far enough in the battle. So hold on to your boots. We're gonna have our Rattling Cannons fight over here. Whoa, easy on that, easy on that. Storm Vermin, let's focus that steam tank. Let's give everyone over here missile resist. Oh, I forgot to capture the capture point. Haha, I'm silly. You boys, go grab this for me. We're gonna summon some clan rats to run defense. We're gonna tell Screech to go fight the dragon. There it is. I was wondering what I forgot. They're doing their job. You're doing your job. Hold the line. Screech is kicking the shit out of a dragon. I'd like to make sure that bird doesn't come back. And it came back. I think I may have goofed on not getting the capture point quicker. Especially because that capture point is very heavy. And the game's like, what are you doing, dingus? Let's do a plague over here. Okay, let's do this the smart way. I forgot to start with a unit on the capture point. Because if you start with a unit on the capture point, it starts automatically captured. Let's put guns on the Hulk. Yeah. How do you not start with the capture point being yours? Keep in mind that this is a work in progress build. So it is very possible for there to be oopsies. See, now I have control of it. Oh, I think it was just a bug. We just got a bug. And that's okay, that happens. So, other units. So I don't think we have access to any other new units through the spawn points. Yeah, that was super weird. Okay, yeah, we just got a bug. Huh. Odd. Curious. Peculiar. But that's okay. So, now we'll do this for realsies. But this time, we have the capture point, so that's nice. Oh, don't worry, I'll make sure it's, I'll make sure to leave a note. Though this build's fairly old, compared to whatever it is they're working on right now. Because this is the Gamescom build. So if you're at Gamescom, or you go to Gamescom, you can actually pick up this build. You can actually go play this build yourself at the convention, which is pretty cool. You'll be able to do this, and you'll be able to play the 10 turns of the Boris Todbringer campaign. So if that sounds interesting to you, do consider, if you happen to be visiting the con or live in the area, to drop on by and do that. Alright. Okay, this will put us in a much better position then, since I was a goofy goober. No, wait, I didn't do anything. The game did something. I'm not gonna blame myself for the game being a ridiculous. Okay, I want these Storm Fiends to support the center. Plague Monks in the center. Screech will have you kind of over here. Thanquol will have you over here. And let's begin. So we're gonna have our Warp Lightning Cannons immediately aim for the big boy targets. Yeah, see, now I have control of the capture points. That was super weird. Okay, so we're not gonna waste any time, and we're gonna start calling in more reinforcements, because this battle can and will get out of control very quickly if we're not careful. I don't give a shit if these guys survive. I just want them to hurt those Slayers a bunch before they get over here. Let them have it! Beautiful. You see, even though this dragon is dived into my Storm Fiends, they are not having a terrible time. They are actually doing perfectly fine at the moment. Why don't we go for Clan Rats to stop up these elves here. And then I can summon a big old plague on top of them. And we can watch Screech fight a little bit. He is an absolute monster. Where's Malice? Yes, yes. Let's give him a bit of extra missile resist just to be safe. And he says, oh no, I'm outnumbered. Not! Yeah, he does have a cool animation where he'll, like, impale someone on his Doomglaive. But I do need to keep an eye on the rest of the battle, because we can get overwhelmed if we're not careful. You little guys look a little exposed. Get them, boys! More rats! More rats! Over here, give me some these. Give me some regular rat ogres and a bunch of little rat lads.
Get them! Murder, kill, kill!
Glen rats be helpful.
Such power beneath my paws! Great Gracia!
Because this battle is deceptive. You'll be looking at it and go, oh, I have all this under control. Everything's going so well. And then shit will hit the fan very fast.
Yes, yes! Good God!
Yeah, Bone Ripper's shooting attack, if he actually lands the shot, it will literally just melt your face off. It is an absolutely terrifying shooting attack. Gauntlets! Who would win between Gorich and Bone Ripper? If Thanquol is on Bone Ripper's back, which he should be, Bone Ripper. If it's just the two of them, Gorich is much smaller than Bone Ripper. But Bone Ripper is bigger. He's a lot bigger than him.
Shrek, Shrek! It's Harry! Clanrat spears!
Greatest vermin lord.
Murder, kill!
Okay, y'all go that way. You keep chasing them off. Enemy Lord is dead. Good stuff. We got... The engine is halfway charged! And we've got a dwarf that's broken through, which is a little annoying. I need something to kill that dwarf in particular. Death Runners and more Storm Fiends. Perfect. Come and get him! Also, we can use our resources to upgrade the defenses on Screech.
Steady, Bone Ripper!
Is that a little wizard?
Great right!
Here comes the next wave! Enjoy these two goobers fighting him for a second.
Mightiest and most cunning!
Oh look, a unit of archers. Haha, just kidding. Eagle? Two eagles. Let's see. That's all looking fine. Give them some defense.
Doom player! At once, master!
Lord Screech Vermin King.
We did it!
No! No!
Wait.
How could it be that the scaling pests are here?
Uh-oh.
Such terrible droves! The breed nest half a world away! And why did my engine stop charging? The Toad Priest is tampering with it! Somehow! Kill him! Kill him!
So now, as long as that Slawn is alive, the engine stops charging. And now there's a Lizardman army here.
Make the ground shake!
Things are getting more complicated.
Clanrat spears.
Off you get.
Submission through terror.
Blade claw catapult.
Let's give you more ammo. You.
Plague
Let's get moving.
Unseen death. No hiding from Thanquol.
Let's turn these guys into storm vermin.
Ruin and decay.
See, they run. Guide us, Horned One.
Bring me prey.
So you can see here Screech's size relative to a Carnosaur. Like he's a big boy. So let's do Death Frenzy over here. Once again, everything you're seeing is work in progress, so don't be shocked if there are changes between what you're seeing now and the live build. That'll come later.
Over here.
Alright, we need to go kill that Slawn.
This will be a good chance.
Such power beneath my paws.
Let's go for a Plague over here. Maybe a Flensing Ruin. You know what? A Scorch would actually be fine.
Warpstone power. Unleash. Deadliest seer.
And buff ourselves to go kill that Toad. Everything seems to be holding firm, so that's good. And Screech is getting a lot of company, but that's fine. We'll just turn a bunch of them into storm vermin. Is Screech bigger than a Bloodthirster? I think he's relatively the same size.
Back underground. Ultimate power.
Slawn should die here pretty quick. Do I need to be worried? I think this Slawn has like bonus defenses. Oh, he's also unbreakable.
Bone Ripper.
Nothing a little Flensing Ruin and Clan Rats can't solve. Storm Fiends, come here. Yeah, and the longer the battle that drags out, the more you just keep getting reinforcements from all the different factions. So, okay, the Slawn is dead. All right.
Most cunning.
He did fire off a chain lightning before he died, though. Very rude. And a bunch of elves also showed up to help.
No hiding from Thanquol.
When in doubt, more plague.
Rises, yes. Master of magic.
5 seconds until the engine fires.
It worked! See? Just as I planned it! Scuttle free, little mad things, yes! Let all know that torrent of war doom marks the reign of brave Seer Thanquol!
And so begins the end. If you see during the cutscene, there's a whole bunch of you can see it's all fucked up looking in the background. So the moon shatters. So yeah, that's Thanquol's finale quest battle. Super fun. I personally think they should step up the difficulty a bit more. I would love for there to be like way more enemies. But it's super fun. It's a good time. So with that, that is the Thanquol quest battle and a super duper good time. Do all those moon shards turn into great models when they land? No, the great model was a very specific orchestrated set of circumstances. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and pop out of this build, and I am going to pull up that article released by, oh sorry, hold on, I need to do a thing before I get any more distracted. 1 second. Sorry, I had to take care of a business thing. All right, so let me grab the Nagash article. Was that my first time playing that quest battle? No, it was not. It was my second time playing that quest battle. I did play it once before. Before the embargo stuff. Okie dokie. So let me grab the article from Creative Assembly, because I've actually not seen it. This wasn't something that we got to see in advance. So y'all are gonna get to be here for my genuine live reaction. Which then I will then download this stream later and cut it up to make it its own video. Okay, so we're gonna go over to this. I'm gonna hit full screen and we're gonna dive into this article. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Lord of the End Times, meet Nagash. All right. By the way, how is my audio sounding? I have been trying to, I thought I got it into a place where I was kind of happy, and then I turned my PC off, and when I turned it back on, everything broke and I had to completely do it again by scratch. So I am trying to get it to sound good again. Like as far as like level of volume, quality, and all that. So please do feel free to give me feedback on how it sounds. In any event, that's why it's a lot closer to my face. If you're like, why is the microphone on screen? That's there's a little feedback. Define feedback. What do you mean by there's feedback? I need like specifics. Move the cable out of the green screen. No. Because that's where if anything, it's going to end up closer to me. I'm going to be trying to get like a little box commissioned around me. That is going to be there for, that way it doesn't stick out as bad. But get used to seeing it on screen. Small buzz when you're talking. Oh, that's probably not a buzz. That is probably my fan. I have a very loud fan that's right over here that you're probably hearing when I'm talking. And the gate moves. And the reason for that is that I live in Texas and it's hot as fuck. Yeah. Hey, VTuber Mail, hello, how are you? Mods, can we get a shout out? I do love. I know that man. It's a very nice man. It's a very good guy over there. If y'all have ever checked it out, you should check him out. Mr. Scrumblow himself. Hard to say. Hope you're doing well, man. All right, so let's open this artifact. Let's see what Nagash has to hold. Hound of Villain with the super strat. Screech versus Dragon. What is a dragon? I am ancient, born at the beginning of this world. You are nothing to me. Screech. What? Optiville Omen, did you have a stroke when you were writing that? I have no idea what you're trying to say. Okay, let's get into this. The Warhammer world isn't short of a villain or two, but none of them even come close to the monstrous magisterial malignance of Nagash. He's the architect of necromancy itself, which really makes him the sire of all the undead races. Now he's back from the dead and calling all his children to service. Come, mortal, it's time to meet the master. Who? V2? God. Sometimes having two chats is hold on, you bunch of little shits. Hold on. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Nope, go there. Click on that. Click on that. Click on that. This guy. Here, I'll even post his link for you, YouTube chat. Thank me later because he's fucking awesome. And if you haven't checked him out, you should. I met him off guy. Super cool guy. He's a gentleman of the highest caliber. Anyway, back to this. So Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Undead, firstborn son of King Ketep of Kimri. Nagash led the high priesthood of the Nehekar mortuary cult. He discovered a branch of dark magic previously unknown to man, that of necromancy, and created the elixir of life, granting him unnatural longevity. Nagash took the throne, warred with the other kings in Nehekar, was defeated and fled in exile, and so that might have been the end of his tale, but for the fact he discovered Warpstone, concentrated volatile magic in solid form, which transformed him into a creature of unsurpassed power. Beneath the crags of Cripple Peak, he unearthed a vast abundance of Warpstone, and erected his fortress of Nagashazar there. Thus armed, he began preparations to conduct a great dark ritual, and take his vengeance on all Nehekara. The Skaven, terrified of the power Nagash wielded, and coveting the Warpstone to Cripple Peak for themselves, naturally, hatched a plot to defeat the Necromancer. They created a Warpstone Fellblade, should be the Fellblade of Warpstone, but whatever, and smuggled it into the dungeons beneath Nagashazar, where Nagash had imprisoned the Nehekaran king Alcatazar. That's not how Alcatazar is spelled. Who did the spell check on this? Power Scrubber, thank you for 31 months. Jonathan King, thank you so much for the 4 months of membership. Thank you so much. Biofoot, thank you for the bits, by the way. Hound, thank you for that super chat. I hope you're not having a stroke, because it read like you had a stroke. You're writing dialogue between the two. What do you mean by, he says, I'm nuts? Why is he nuts? What nuts? What is Nagash's goal? To become a god? Something like that. We'll get into more of that. Well, we can discuss lore stuff here after we get through the article. Let's see. When Nagash had imprisoned the Nehekaran king, should say Alcatazar. They spelled it correctly the second time. Pressing the blade to his hands, they freed Alcatazar and bade him take his vengeance. Nagash unleashed his dark ritual, ending all life in Nehekara, raising its people in undeath. Drunk on the vast power he wielded, he was unaware as Alcatazar stole into the ritual chamber and struck him down. However, Nagash's necromantic power was so great, his spirit remained. Over the centuries, Nagash's spirit was drawn inexorably back to his Black Pyramid at Kimri, and he was reborn in the Age of Sigmar. As he gathered his strength, Nagash discovered that his crown and all the power it contained had fallen into the hands of Sigmar. He began raising a new army of the dead and set his sights on reclaiming it. Covering a path to the Empire, his forces growing with every victory, fought countless battles until at last he faced Sigmar in battle. Battle of the River Reich, good one. It's a good fight. Seeing his quarry wearing the crown, Nagash hurled his magical fury at Sigmar, bringing him to his knees. Sigmar tore off the crown, Nagash clawed at it. As Nagash clawed for it, Sigmar raised Galbaraz, and the Necromancer was slain again. Now Nagash is risen again, returned to unlife by the efforts of Archon the Black and Manfred von Karstein. The forces of chaos threatened to consume the world, which should be rightfully his to rule. Nagash would see its inhabitants slain and resurrected his eternal service. And now he has set his sights on nothing less than godhood. That is a very rapid TLDR of Nagash's story that is missing a crazy amount of details, but good enough. it's good enough. I also think they actually come up with a good explanation for why he's at the Black Pyramid for his start location instead of Nagashazar, where if you're going with the older written lore, he really should be in Nagashazar, but having it where Manfred von Karstein and Archon the Black, who are both in Nehekara, in the Total War multiverse timeline, whatever you want to call it, that they have spurned him to resurrection at the Black Pyramid, actually does a good job making sense. Campaign gameplay. Dude, look at this art. Oh, I love the Nagashazar architecture. Nagash's architecture is really fun. It almost has, it kind of has almost like Necron-y, futuristic vibes to it in a way, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Campaign gameplay. Claiming what is rightfully his, Nagash has mastery over all flavors of undeath. As he captures settlements, he can transform them into summoning grounds for the staggering variety of all undead units. Coastal settlements will become pirate coves, while inland settlements can be fashioned into burial chambers or mausoleums. Across these settlements, Nagash gains access to recruitment options across the Vampire Coast, Tomb Kings, and Vampire Count unit rosters. The crowning landmarks of Nagash's campaign are necropolises, major settlements which form the very foundation for Nagash's Land of the Dead campaign mechanic. A necropolis gathers necromantic energy from each region and its province, and from those in every province bordering it. Okay, so it's kind of like... that's interesting. So it's kind of like the Beastmen Bloodgrounds around the... That's interesting. So it's kind of like the Beastmen Bloodgrounds around their Herdstones, kind of in a sense. Necromantic energy is spent on construction of necropolis buildings, increases the faction's unit capacities, and raising units instantly in the province via the Grave Call recruitment option, though units can still be recruited as normal using dark energy. Each necropolis is a powerhouse of elite unit recruitment, offering advanced military structures to raise the mightiest warriors from each flavor of undeath. What the fuck is this? Did they put Path of Exile in my Total War Warhammer? Whoa, the balls. Holy moly. When not creating nightmarish combinations of undead warriors, Nagash conducts arcane research deep in the bowels of the vast Black Pyramid. This is his starting settlement and the source of much of his campaign development. The Black Pyramid feature contains a vast array of nodes which govern upgrades for all aspects of Nagash's campaign and the many units he can recruit. These upgrades require empowered sigils within the Black Pyramid. This can be done through many sources, but principally by constructing and improving necropolises, so his faction strength moves hand in hand with his territorial conquest and necropolis construction. Jesus Christ, this looks amazing. Oh my god, look at all these buffs along the left side. Dude, look at the category system. Other categories, show only active effects, monsters and beasts, artillery and war machines, infantry, winds of magic, cavalry and chariots, mortarks. Oh my good god, this looks so good. Oh, this looks so cool. Bro, it just looks like a Path of Exile skill tree. Oh my god. This looks absolutely bonkers. Okay, you can see there's a reset button over here. Oh, lordy. In-depth campaign mechanics in my Total War game? What year is it? What year is it? So what do we have over here? Beasts of the Dead Nature. Creatures which, if returned from death, spend all... Wait. Yeah. Creatures which, if returned from death, upend. There we go. Upend all laws of animal nature. Nature moves through thriving life. Undead beasts sow death and desolation. Their sole glimmer of natural instinct hails from Nagash, and so they obey only him. Minus 15% upkeep for direwolf units, and you can get direwolves from Gravecall recruitment. Monsters of the Dead Divine. Imbued with unassailable divinity, seldom did the Hammerai descend upon the mortal world to partake in the mundane struggle, for it was never truly won. What they are now is a dark, dead reflection of their past selves, no less than what they were. Oh, for it never truly was one. That's really interesting. So these are this is for the Morghast. So the Morghast were actually angels. They were literally angels. So they were angels of the sun god Pthra that Pthra sent down to try and kill Nagash, and he ripped them asunder, remade them in his image. So that's why they're monsters of the dead divine. Which does seem to imply that Pthra is dead, which would kind of sort of make sense with the way the Tomb Kings are, but it's complicated, and that's the whole fucking thing. Monsters of the Dead Stone. The inanimate, the one thing outside the realm of death. Once death's wind moved across them, yet they remained as they always were. Nehekarans were the first to imprint death upon them in the shape of divine worship. Nagash's triumph over stone and sand is for the sake of worship too. his own. Very cool. And then Monsters of the Dead Flesh. The Shadow of Nagash bids dread colossi to crawl out of their element, overcome with the feral sense that something mighty must be challenged. Then they die and are enchained as primeval symbols of how even time and permanence are fleeting shadows in his eye. Very cool. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Next on Nagash's to-do list is subjugating the Mortarks to his service. These are the legendary lords and heroes whom Nagash has chosen as his lieutenants, and each has their own unlock conditions. Subjugating any of the legendary lords, namely Archon the Black, Neferata, Luther Harkin, plus Vlad and Manfred von Karstein, grants you immediate ownership over their empires and forces. There are also 3 legendary heroes in the form of Dieter Hellstedt, Wallach Harkin, and Krell, plus a poltergeist follower known as the Nameless, who grants any lord he is assigned to the ability to possess enemy units before a battle. That makes sense. That is literally a oh, can we get a mic check with the fan off? Yes, that's actually a good idea. All right, I have turned the fan off. You might still be able to hear the PC humming. But I have turned off the fan. So I'm curious if you still hear some kind of weird sound, because there could be stuff I can mess with. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, yeah, go here. What does this do? Okay, that should be fine. Oh no, I want to. Okay, I think I want to keep that on. There's an electrical hum when you're speaking. Ooh, that could be a couple different things. I know it's not going to be phantom power. That could be... Huh. That could be a couple different things. Okay, I might just have to deal with it for now, because it's something I need to mess with. Okay, that's something I will experiment with later. Just bear with it for today. No, it's not gonna. There's wire loose is not. No, that's not gonna be a thing. that's not gonna be what's causing it. It's gonna be something else. That I'll deal with it later. All right. So we have I hear no hum. It's probably just gonna be people that have it like cranked all the way up, because we've had some weird audio issues in the past, but I'll experiment with it later. Okay, so yeah, so the Nameless lets you possess units. That makes sense. That's literally the Nameless as he exists within the end times. I think anyone that was expecting anything different underestimates how much Games Workshop is gonna be telling them what they have to do. But and it could also be that like not everyone is gonna be able to hear it. There might be some people that literally can't hear it. But it's something I'll mess with later, because like I said, my audio setup got completely fucked because Windows just like destroyed it. It was so bad that I literally had to completely uninstall all of my software relating to any of my microphone stuff and had to reinstall everything brand new. So everything's gonna be super fucked up, and I have to go in and fix everything. It's a huge pain in the ass. Anyway, so Nagash really wants his stuff back. By recovering the books of Nagash from various armies and settlements around the world who currently hold them, Nagash can empower them to grant him extra spells in the lores of light, vampires, death, and Nehekara. So you could have 4 different lores of magic. Oh no, that doesn't even include the lore of undeath. So he's gonna have access to 5 lores of magic. Jesus Christ. All told, Nagash's campaign is a rampant power fantasy made real, which is only fitting for the Supreme Lord of Undeath. What else would the Nameless have been? If they had allowed the Nameless to be actual Drakenfels, so if he had actually been allowed to be constant Drakenfels, then he could have been like an entire realized character. However, that is not what Games Workshop made him in the end times, and ultimately that's the character they're adapting, which is the Nameless, which is Drakenfels, but his body has been completely destroyed and he doesn't remember who he is. But Drakenfels is really weird. I'm not going to get into it super hard right now because I want to get through the rest of the article and we have so much to get through. So we'll table that for the moment. Battle gameplay. If we were to sum up the focus of Nagash's battle gameplay in a single term, it'd be power. That begins with Nagash himself, who's probably the single most powerful character in the game. Plus, he has the full rosters of every undead faction at his bony fingertips and some potent new additions in the form of the Morghast, Spirit Host, Coven Throne, the unspeakable might of the Kimmer Titan. When it comes to building armies with Nagash, the sky's the limit. And then look at the bony boy! He looks so good! He looks so good! Nagash looks absolutely fantastic. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different books. We love to see it. We love to see it. Oh my god, he looks fantastic. I love this big, stupid skeleton man. Alright. If Nagash were simply a mage, he'd be the most powerful spellcaster in the game, with the lore of undeath at his beck and call, plus additive spells from the lores of light, death, vampires, and Hakara, granted by the knowledge in his lost books. He's a magical juggernaut. But he isn't simply a mage. Tooled up with his legendary armor and weapons, he's an absolute killing machine. His staff of power, Alakanash, can pulse out a vortex which repels attackers. Interesting. Pulse out a vortex which repels attackers. I wonder if that's the big tornado thing we saw in the trailer, or if that was different. While his Mortis Blade, Zephyr Nefbar, can trigger explosions which return any damage dealt as health. Oh my god, he is self-healing. Of course he does. Plus, his Arch Necromancer ability is a one-shot finishing move for enemy lords or heroes. When activated, it deals eye-watering levels of damage, provided they're already seriously wounded. Great! So he has a fucking finisher ability. Oh, dear god. Alright. As if that weren't enough, Nagash is the master of combat necromancy and is able to unlock a range of Rise Gravecall army abilities, enabling him to raise units in the thick of battle. We're expecting anything less from the Supreme Lord of Necromancy. Okay, I like that a lot. That's actually a really, really cool way to interpret the lore of Undeath. For those that don't know, the lore of Undeath in tabletop was actually almost purely a summoning lore. The original version that was created for tabletop had like 1 or 2 spells, maybe, that actually like dealt damage, but the vast majority of the spells would just allow you to bring units onto the table. So you could like create a hero, or summon a unit of cavalry, or summon a unit of infantry, or summon a monster, or summon a unit of monstrous infantry. Like it was a lot of summoning stuff. So it looks like the way they're interpreting that for Total War Warhammer is they're making it a unique army ability for him. So, however it is, so kind of like how when you play Khorne, you have the 3 army abilities that like charge up and you're able to do like bigger abilities. It seems like it's going to be that way for Nagash, except for Nagash is going to be able to summon units onto the battlefield instead, which is really good. Dieter Hellstedt! It's the boy! It's the lad! Everybody's favorite necromancer. It's the old man himself with his goofy ass staff and his goofy ass little flipped up neck piece. Oh my gosh. We love Hellstedt in this house. Multi-discipline offensive spellcaster hero. The Doom Lord of Mindenheim. Dieter can be subjugated by Nagash to become one of his Mortarchs and proves a blisteringly powerful offensive spellcaster in the field. Wielding a blend of damage spell from the lores of vampires and death, he also has a bound burning skull spell. Hell yeah, he does. And can access a unique undead manticore as a mount. Dieter Hellstedt can also be unlocked for use by the Vampire Count's factions. Ha 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 ha. I love it. That's so good. Burning Skull, ironically, is such a fucking good spell. It's like one of the best spells in the game. Oh my lord, that's so good. Is Nagash a skilled fighter in the lore? Yes. Relatively speaking. Nagash is like not the most skilled duelist. Like he's not someone that's gonna be... Nagash was very well trained in arts of combat during his mortal life, and becoming a 20-foot tall giant skeleton monster that is wielding a blade that is very carefully designed to accent his strengths and unleash horrific death-dealing power on anyone that gets remotely close to him, he's a reasonably dangerous combatant. Now, he's not the most... I would not call him a notably skilled melee fighter. It is more that due to his raw size and power, ladies, he is able to really bring it home. Like he's just a monster. Shouldn't he also have dark magic? Yeah, no, and kind of yes. So if you're looking at Nagash from a pure lore standpoint, then logically he should be able to use dark magic, but that's true of a lot of things in the game. As far as Games Workshop is concerned, the answer is no. The lore of dark magic is exclusive to elves, notably the dark elves and the wood elves, and nobody else is allowed to use it. That is just how Games Workshop designed it. That doesn't really make sense if you're looking at it from like a roleplay perspective, but games, as far as a game like Total War is concerned, nobody gives a fuck about that. So in that case, the answer is a very clean no, he should not. If you're dealing with it on a perspective of like you're doing a roleplay campaign and you're like hardcore detailing what Nagash is capable of, then according to that, yes, he should be able to use dark magic. This is fun. Okay, so here it looks like we've got unit capacity. So there's unit capacities that you're able to increase. Very similar. This looks very similar to like how the Tomb Kings or the Chaos Dwarfs do it, where you increase unit capacity by like spending points to upgrade. And you've got Polearm Infantry, Spirit Host, Nehekara, Crypt Ghouls, Tomb Guard, Ethereal, Grave Guard, Depth Guard, and Lamian Handmaidens. So here we see that this is just infantry. Then you looks like you've got ranged, cavalry, monstrous infantry, chariots, and probably war machines, and then monsters. So pretty solid amount of categories. Yes, Nagash can get everything from all three undead rosters. It's pretty baller. Wallach Harkin. I love Wallach Harkin. He's kind of goofy looking, like his head, because he very much has the design of the vampires from pre 6th edition, like 5th edition backwards, where they're very cartoony. Like they all have slicked back hair. They all have like they all look like they came out of like a super old black and white movie where the vampire character, they're like, oh, they have to be attractive. They'd have the slicked back black hair, like just super greasy looking hair. Wallach is very much a character from that time period. Especially because he stopped getting artwork as we went into the later editions of the lore. I think they did a very, very good job modernizing him for this. Oh, that's actually a good idea, Hawk. Let me do that. So if I... Wacha! There we go. Now the little string from my microphone is not in the middle of the screen. There you go. So he looks great. He looks absolutely fantastic. He looks exactly like his artwork. Except for a little bit improved. I love his big stupid cape. I love his big stupid headdress thing. He looks fantastic. Wallach's looking like an absolute boss. Famed Blood Knight and veteran of the Vampire Wars, Wallach Harkin is another of Nagash's Mortarks. A practitioner of the lore of vampires, he's also a potent melee specialist, wielding the Crimson Blade, which grants him magic attacks. Wallach also carries his iconic Blood Chalice into battle, which he can drink from to regenerate lost health, or coat his sword with for extra melee punch. It can also be unlocked for use by the Vampire Count's factions. Awesome, fantastic. Is he the crazy one? No, that's Conrad. Wallach Harkin is, I wouldn't call him crazy. He's kind of a dick, but he's not crazy. He's more vaguely depressed and kind of a douche. And he's very elitist and is pissed most of the time. But he's not crazy. Conrad was fucking crazy. Conrad was completely fucking insane. And all the regular vampires are like, Jesus Christ, Conrad, chill the fuck out. But yeah, that you're thinking of Conrad. Wallach is so when you think of Blood Knights, actual Blood Knights, most of what their modern identity is comes from Wallach. Wallach Harkin was the vampire that took over Blood Keep. He took over the Ordo Draconis, which was they were a imperial knightly order, that the Order Draconis, the Order of the Dragon, who Wallach basically challenged them all to a duel, and they were foolish enough to open their doors, and they all fought him one at a time in duels, and he massacres all of them. And those that he's impressed with, he raised into vampires, and those that he wasn't impressed with were killed and used to feed the rest. And then their corpses were resurrected as zombies and such. And Wallach, a lot of what we understand as Blood Knights and the Blood Knights that threaten the old world come from Wallach's legacy. He's not the first of the Blood Dragons. The founder of the Blood Dragon bloodline is Abarash, but Wallach is like, if you're looking for like who culturally founded what we think of as Blood Dragons, the answer is Wallach. Abarash is kind of off doing crazy. Abarash is kind of off doing the like multi-thousand-year-old monk nonsense, meditating on the top of a mountain shit. So there you go. The High Lich Priest, Tomb King fans rejoice. Oh, I love all the different headdresses. You can see like the different gods represented. So you have the jackal head of Joff, the god of death. Then you've got this looks like it's supposed to represent Usirian, the god of the underworld. And then we have a serpent head to represent oh gosh. Oh god, Kalida's patron. Fuck. Nope, it's not my brain. God damn it, what the fuck is the snake goddess? Asaf, thank you. God, my god, yeah. Asaf. So I like that they've got like different members of the Pantheon representing the Lich High Priest. But this is really, really good for Tomb King players. Tomb King players finally have more than a single Lord option. At long last, Tomb Kings have two generic Lord options. Hooray! It only took like 5 years. Okay, so we see their weapons here. They kind of got these halberd staffs, and then they got like Kopesh blades. Regal spellcasters of Nehakara. These lords can be recruited to wield the lords of Nehakara, light, death, and undeath. Their gaze of Usirian ability can instill terror into anything less than the mightiest combatant, and they're capable of summoning poisonous scarab tomb swarms to create damaging no-go areas. The High Lich Priest can also be recruited by Tomb King factions. Hell yeah. Will Tomb King players get access to them without paying for the DLC? No. No. If you want anything on this list, you need to pay for it. It's included in Nagash's DLC. So the only thing that's free, that is what was covered in the Neferata stuff, the article from the Neferata thing. So like the Lamian vampires, Neferata, the vampire counts update. I mean, technically all of the in-game crises and all that stuff as well. So all the like the end times mechanics, those are all free. But if you want anything that's in this article, you have to buy at least the Nagash part of Lords of the End Times. We also have the Tomb Herald, a melee support hero. I will say it is really nice to see like more big banner wielding characters. I love battle standard bearers. I wish we have more of them in game. More big banners. More big banners. I need big banners in my life. Just stick them all in me. No, Hawk, don't. Hawk, do not grab that link. Hawk, do not grab that link. Hold on. Oh, hold on a second. because the link changed as of like yesterday. How long ago was this? 34 minutes ago. Fuck. God damn it. Wait, can you try again one more time? I'm watching Discord right now. Trying to multitask here. Unfortunately, that code is time sensitive. All right. Oh gosh, sorry. I'm trying to do like multiple things at once. Ah, here we go. Copy that. Paste that. My lovely little Lord Beards are trying to fix shit. What was I doing? I was about to do something and then I got distracted. Oh, now I remember. Go here. And then I need this. And I need this. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is the new link. This is the new link. So if you are wanting to get Lords of the End Times at a discount, you can also navigate from there to just any of the individual ones, which you'll see down at the bottom. But you will save more using that code than you will just doing it off Steam, and you'll help support me and what I'm doing. So if that interests you, great. If not, that's also okay. It's your money. Do what you want with it. But you'll save more than you will on Steam. All right, Tomb Heralds. Tomb Heralds. Also, I don't need headphones for this because I'm not listening to anything. Tomb Heralds are moderately armored melee combatants whose real value lies in their support abilities. They can regenerate undead units around them using their Icon of the King and grant rising leadership bonuses as they fight. The Tomb Herald can also be recruited by Tomb King factions. This is absolutely fucking fantastic. This is super duper 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 cool. Not available in your region. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, unfortunately, it does apparently have its limits. It's so stupid that like regional codes or like regional stuff is a thing for like digital content. That's such a dumb bullshit, doesn't make sense philosophy. Anyway, I'm gonna stop myself before I start getting on a rant. With the Tomb Herald, so this is great. I'm really, really excited to see Tomb Heralds. I'm really curious. I don't think it's included in this article, but I'm actually really, really curious what is going to. I'm very, very curious what's gonna happen with the Tomb Prints, like what they're gonna do to the Tomb Prints to try and make the Tomb Prints stand out as something truly unique. Hopefully they'll get upgraded to just being full on beat sticks that can just kick ass and chew bubblegum and allow the Tomb Herald to sort of take over a lot of those more supportive abilities. But I love the way they look. I'm super happy to have them in game. I would love to see more battle standard bearer type characters introduced into the game. Like, are they strictly necessary? No. But are they super fucking cool? Yes. So I am very, very happy to see this guy included. The Drakenhof Templars. So at long last, we finally have our elite von Karstein unit. So we've had elite blood dragons with the blood knights, and funny enough, the underwater, the full armored knights from the Vampire Coast. We have our elite Lamians now with the Lamian vampires and also kind of the Coven Throne. But now we've got our elite von Karsteins with the Drakenhof Templars. Really fun unit to see fully realized, which is just really, really kick-ass. I like that they're riding on full-on nightmares. So they're actually not riding skeletal steeds, they're riding nightmares, which nightmares are a step above skeletal steeds. Skeletal steeds do have their own unique advantages, but in that they're usually able to be significantly more maneuverable the way skeletal steeds were designed, which I can't remember if they ever got around to doing this. I was bugging them to do it for the longest time, but I can't remember if they did it. But skeletal steeds in tabletop had Strider because their bodies would like kind of turn into mist as they were charging. So they could like maneuver around terrain that most people couldn't. So that meant that the Blackguard or Black Knights, the Black Knights and the White Kings on Skeletal Steed, they had Strider, which was super duper cool and really unique for them. But yeah, so here you see they're running on Nightmares, which they should be because vampires actually don't ride on skeletal steeds, according to tabletop, which is funny. They did make that change. Yeah, good. That was, you can thank me for bugging. I caused a lot of hubbub for that. Jonathan King, by the way, thank you so much for the 4 months. I think I already did, but I'm doing it again just to be safe. Biofoot, thank you for the bits. Do you think we'll ever get the fabled staple remover armed units for the Empire? I'm looking at the little jaws on this thing, and it's got to be someone using them as a tool of war. Sadly, that technology is beyond them. Clearly. That would have to be a dwarf weapon. The Empire would never. Let's see. This heavily armored vampire cavalry is adept at tar pitting enemy monsters and cavalry, keeping them pinned away from your other units. They pay out armor-piercing anti-large damage, and their Drakenhof banner gives them bonus life from any healing sources, helping them turn almost any encounter into a favorable one. Pair them up with a Tomb Herald for outstanding survivability. The Drakenhof Templars are also available to the vampire counts. So this is fantastic. This is super duper awesome. I really love, I really like that they get bonus health from their regen, which technically that is going to include like magic and such, but notably is going to be on the hunger. This is going to be a really kick-ass unit for the vampire counts, especially for people playing like Vlad and Isabella campaigns. Yeah, they're great. I love their goofy ass fucking bat pauldrons and stuff. They look fun. Spirit Host. With the knife-wielding ethereals of the Spirit Host, or what the knife-wielding ethereals of the Spirit Host lack in damage, they more than make up for in penetration. Ayo? Ayo? No, Blood Knight. So all vampires, without exception, all vampires in tabletop ride on nightmares and are the same in Total War. So Blood Knights, vampire characters, all of them, they ride on nightmares. The only things that ride on skeletal steeds are other skeletons. Yeah. Their magical armor-piercing attacks, which slow their opponents with frostbite, combined with their high entity count, means they're surprisingly effective at swamping, pinning, and damaging heavily armored units. Spirit Host could also be recruited by vampire count factions. Spirit Host is probably one of the units I'm the most excited for. I fucking love Spirit Hosts, and they are just absolutely fantastic. Do you still think we'll get a Tomb King DLC / rework with Apophis and melee bone giants in the future? Yes! Yes, I do. I still am a very firm believer that the Tomb Kings will be getting a character pack. I am a huge believer in the Tomb King character pack, at minimum. And I'm calling it now. I'm calling my shot now. If I had tinfoil next to me, I'd go put my tinfoil on. But I am full on calling it now, predicting that either in a character pack or a more traditional Lord pack, we are gonna get Ramhotep the Visionary as the last Tomb King Legendary Lord, who is a Necrotect character. I then think we will get Prince Apophis as a legendary hero, the Scarab Prince. I also think in some unrelated thing, or perhaps as a free LC or whatever, we will also get, actually, I could see us getting 2 legendary heroes with that. So we probably wouldn't get any generic characters, but I could see us getting Ramhotep the Visionary's legendary lord, Prince Apophis' legendary hero, no generic characters, and then as a second legendary hero, we get, man, I'm really struggling with names today. I'm not going to look at chat. I'm going to force myself to remember this. Cetra's Herald. I'm looking at his miniature in my brain. The miniature that always annoys me because he's not on a chariot. I'm not looking at chat. I'm not looking at chat because I want to remember it by myself. He wields the flail of skulls, which is made from the heads of a bunch of other Tomb Kings and Lords that such are cursed. Fuck. Man, I just can't do it. Nakaf. Yes, Nakaf. Okay. Yes, Nakaf. So, okay. Anyway, so Ramhotep the Visionary, Nakaf, the Herald of Setra, Prince Apophis. Those two as legendary heroes. Ramhotep is a legendary lord. And then if we're following traditional character pack that was established with Bashiva, we're then looking at 3 units. And the 3 units that I would want to close up the Tomb Kings, if it was up to me, is I would do Tomb Guard on chariots. So heavy chariots that are with Tomb Guard riding on the back. I would also do the Necrolith Colossi, I think is what it's called. Which the Necrolith Colossi is, it's basically a melee bone giant. So it's a bone giant that has like 2 big weapons. So 2 big hand weapons. So it's dual wielding. But it's called a Necrolith Colossi according to 8th edition. They gave the name for it. And then the third and final unit would be, you have a couple options. If it was up to me, I would probably want to go for an Ushabti variant with ancient Ushabti. So I'd want ancient Ushabti that have great weapons. So Ushabti that just have like big fuck you 2-handed weapons. So that would give you 3 units, 2 legendary heroes, 1 legendary lord, and you're done. That's it. Yeah, that'd be super cool. So I'm calling my shot. I'm calling my shot for Tomb Kings. That will be a character pack that we see at some point later in the future. No overworld bone dragons. Listen, I want the bone dragons. I want the bone dragons so bad, but it's really tricky. Games Workshop is in a really weird spot right now when it comes to the relationship between the old world and Total War Warhammer, where they don't seem to want there to be crossover. I think it's really stupid. If we could have bone dragons, I would do anything to get the bone dragons because they would make such fucking cool mounts. They would actually allow like Lich High Priest to have a top tier mount, which would be really cool. And we'd also get to have like a big monster mount besides the kitty cat for the Tomb Kings, which would be super cool. I want them super bad. I just don't see any indication that GW is budging on that, which sucks. But it is what it is, and we'll just hope for the best. All right, carrying on. Morghast Archai, anti-large flyers. So these are the ones with the big old fuck you halberds. One of Nagash's most potent creations, the Morghast Archai are giant winged constructs whose 2-handed glaives pay out monstrous levels of arm piercing damage. If your opponent's heavily armored units, especially larger ones, are giving you pause for thought, these are the apex killers to reach for. Wing them forward and watch the carnage unfold. Ah, yes, the preview show to the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Awesome. Awesome. These guys are so fucking sick. They're very, very cool looking. It's good. Morghast Harbingers. So this is the anti-infantry variant. And they also have slightly different head designs. Similar in many respects to the Morghast Archai, the Harbingers are less heavily armored and instead wield dual swords. They still deal hefty armor-piercing damage, though. They're adept at carving a swath through high-tier armored infantry. Oh, yeah, because they don't wear helmets and they don't have the chest armor. That's interesting. Yes, Vampire Counts will be getting zombie dragons as a new generic unit. That's part of the free LC update. I wish they knew what they looked like before they were corrupted. They look like angels. They looked like humanoid angels. So with like sun motifs. But yeah. Kimric Titan. Oh, they let you see the inside of it? That's so fucking cool. We've never got to see the inside of it. That's fucking sick. It without like the whole wing structure. That's so cool. Oh my god, I love that. That's awesome. Taking the form of a monstrous scarab beetle, the Kimric Titan is a terrifying construct whose damage output becomes truly lethal when combined with its abilities. Its armor is near impenetrable. It emits clouds of flesh-eating scarabs mid-combat, and a powerful explosive magic missile ability rounds off his armaments, making it a do-it-all death machine that is incredibly hard to kill. Kimric Titans are also available to Tomb King factions. Hell yeah. Yeah, because many of them will have a great hero or a great king that's entombed on their back, but a lot of them will also have that king's dynasty entombed in these parts here. So, like, it's not unusual for a Kimric Titan to have like literally an entire family of souls animating it, which is really, really cool. The Coven Throne, magical anti-infantry scout chariot. The Coven Throne is useful in a number of roles on the battlefield. Its Blood Omens ability can reveal hidden enemies, making it a neat early battle scout, but it's also great for supporting frontline troops with combat stat buffs and melee debuffs amongst enemy units. It's handy in a fight too, dealing pokey armor-piercing damage, though its lack of armor means it's better suited to swift flank or rear charges on already pinned units. Coven Thrones can also be recruited by Vampire Count factions. So, here's a problem. I'm willing to bet that Creative Assembly is going to cheap us out on the Coven Throne. You may go, Sotek, what are you talking about? And here's the thing. So I'm working on a script right now about mounts in Total War Warhammer and like what are all the mounts that are missing in the game, and like really encouraging Creative Assembly to hopefully in a future patch, maybe like 9.2 or 9.3, do like a mount pass where they go through the game and they add mounts to all the characters that are missing mounts. And I bet this one is going to get on my list because the Coven Throne is supposed to be, this is crazy, but it's true. It's supposed to be available to both the Vampire Lord and the Vampire Hero. It's supposed to be available to both. So this is actually the highest tier mount of the Vampire Hero. And I would and CA admittedly has been pretty bad actually about giving heroes access to the mid-tier monstrous mounts that they're supposed to have access to in tabletop and the lore. It is like crazy how many of them they have not done. Like, we're missing the War Sphinx for the Tomb Prince. We're missing the Manticore for the Dark Elf Master. The Griffin for the High Elf Noble. And I bet this is going to be another one on my list. All right, Regiments of Renown. The Icon of Usirian. Kimric Titans are nasty enough, but this elite example has a couple of extra tricks up its armored sleeves. With flaming attacks to negate enemy healing effects, it's pretty well suited to bringing undead units, amongst others, to heal, and trades in its flesh-eating scarabs for soul-slaying hunger, a multi-use ranged vortex attack. That color scheme is fucking gorgeous. That is a beautiful color scheme. Oh my God, I love that. White, gold, teal, and red. Damn. They confirmed in the Neferata blog that it's both for the Lamian Lady and the Hero. Oh, did they? Really? Okay, I'm going to have to go back and look at that in just a minute. I might be about to eat my words. I wouldn't mind if they didn't give it to the Von Karstein Hero, which I think they should call the Von Karstein Hero. And y'all let me know. Am I crazy? I personally am of the opinion that if they're going to get rid of the generic Vampire Lord, which I have mixed feelings about, But like, if they're gonna do that, then I don't think we should have just like a vampire hero. It should be a von Karstein vampire hero. Because that would also allow her to actually have like a niche. Because then she could have like an interesting mixed lore. Or at the very least, like have abilities that spec into some of the units. Because right now it's like it's a very bland hero. I think they should just make it a von Karstein hero, and they should also make the Ghoul King a hero. Because then we could have the Ghoul King as a hero, the von Karstein vampire hero, and then the Lamian vampire hero. So that would give us 3 bloodlines that have heroes, which would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. All right. The Sepulchrics, which also have a fucking killer color scheme. Like, fuck, these things are so cool looking. Oh, they're so cool looking. Boasting better stats than standard Ushabti, the Sepulchrics also add a magical element to their armor-piercing anti-infantry attacks. With considerably more hit points than your average statue and protected by magical barriers, they're perfect for going toe-to-toe with heavily armored elite infantry. Okay, so they have magical attacks and they have barrier hit points and more health. Damn, those are really good. Oh, those are fucking sick. The Silent Legion. Oh, just the just the black colors, black and brass. Oh, those look so cool. It's so good. These Morghast Archai are aptly named, for their stalk enables them to move unseen in cover. Oh, they have stalk? Jesus. Fly them quickly into position and land them in cover, ideally near the path of something big and nasty. Then when the opportune moment arrives, spring them out and deal the killing blow. You may now consider yourself worthy to stand by the great necromancer side and lords of the end times. But before that, keep an eye out for this week for plenty more info. Yeah, I don't know if y'all have seen, but they've already scheduled a live stream for tomorrow. That, God's willing, I will be live streaming myself, watching them, because they have a live stream coming out, which they're going to be showing off the Archaon End Times mechanic, which looks super fucking cool. They look like bone demons. That's what they are. That's functionally what they are. They were demons, divine servants. They were divine servants, which is a fancy way of saying demons, of the sun god Pithra of the Tomb Kings. And Pithra sent his, they were called the Hamurai, and the Hamurai were sent down to kill Nagash, and Nagash literally ripped them apart and remade them in his own image. So he basically, imagine if like Khorne sent a bunch of bloodthirsters to attack Nagash, and Nagash just went, yeah, now fuck your bloodthirsters, and like remade them into his own image. Are Morghast comparable to bloodthirsters in the lore? No. They're close. They're not quite that big and powerful. They're like the next tier down. So like if you have bloodthirsters at the absolute top, and then below them you have like very powerful bloodthirsters on skull crushers, they're more like that tier. They're like the second highest tier. Okay, so let's see. Vampire Lord. Vampire. No, you lied to me. You lied to me. Whoever said that in chat. The Lamian vampire hero can only mount a Barded Nightmare or a Hellsteed. There is no Coven Throne option. That is for the Lord only. See, the Lord can ride a Coven Throne, but the hero cannot. And the hero should be able. You lied to me, chat. I shouldn't be surprised. Are all female vampires Lamians? Not necessarily. Most of them are. The vast majority of them are. The overwhelming majority of them are. But yeah. Can you ask CA to give us the Hamurai for the Tomb Kings? No, that is not a thing that would be available because they're all gone. They are all dead. Adrian Ward. You liar. All right, so that is the end of the Nagash article. Pretty good. It's pretty good shit. I am very, very, very excited for Nagash. Nagash honestly looks like he might have one of the most satisfying campaign mechanics in the entire game. This shit is like touching me in places that is not like definitely not allowed on stream. It is very much against the rules. TOS, but it looks good. Do all gods have demons/angels? All gods have divine servants. Yes. But they would all appear very differently. And some of them would be difficult to recognize as divine servants. Oh yeah, no. There are lots of female vampires that are not Lamians. Yes. Most Lamians are female. There are some male Lamians, but they're very, very rare. The vast majority of Lamians are female. The other bloodlines tend to be more 50-50. So it's a skill tree, not a mechanic. This is more like a tech tree, I think. I think this is Nagash's version of a tech tree. Because you'll notice as they explain all of his mechanics, Nagash does not seem to have a tech tree. And this appears to be what is replacing it. So it's a mechanic that it's his tech tree while also being a bunch of other shit. And it looks absolutely bonkers. Yeah, good shit. All right, let me get caught up with random chat nonsense. Male Lamians would be pretty strong because they have to be approved by Neferata. No, actually, it's the opposite. Most male Lamians are vampires that Lamians have turned without telling Neferata, because Neferata wouldn't allow it. Neferata does not like men. She hates men. She is full on misandrist. Neferata despises men, and as far as she's concerned, male Lamians are deeply forbidden. She tried having a couple of dudes, and they all betrayed her, and it got really, really bad. Because fucking Khalid was the worst. But like he was a real piece of shit. So Neferata is on a very strict no boys allowed policy. So when you have a Lamian male vampire, what it's virtually all that is what's going on is that you have a Lamian that has fallen in love with a man, usually, or like wants a man to be a part of their life. Maybe it's their lover, maybe it's a family member, whatever. But you will have vampires that turn a man into a vampire without telling Neferata. And they will try to keep them hidden. They will try to keep them like buried, or just not allow Neferata to be made aware of them, because Neferata will almost assuredly attempt to have them killed. It's she doesn't like them. Khalid al-Munstahir, isn't he the one that shows up in Sigmar Nagash and Vampire Wars novels from Black Library? I don't remember if he's in all of those books. He's in I believe he's the vampire. Ugh, man, I want to say Khalid is the vampire from the vampire Lamian male that shows up in the Masters of Death series, which was supposed to be a trilogy but only got 2 novels. The first book is Neferata and the second book is Masters of Death. And his life does not end well. He was a super big piece of shit, and he betrays Neferata, and he's awful. And he was kind of a little shitbag that escaped the wars in Araby, but he eventually gets captured by Archon the Black, and Archon basically seals him in a sarcophagus and then drags him all the way to the Silver Pinnacle as a gift for Neferata. And it's very heavily implied that he's either still in that coffin and is basically trapped in there being tortured for all of eternity, or that she kills him. Either way, his story does not end well. If that's the I'm pretty sure that's Khalid, I think. But there are other male Lamians that you meet throughout the series. Like if you read like the Ulrika series, you'll meet Lamian males. Technically, if you want to get super technical, the evil vampire from Vampire Slayer, he is super funny because he thinks of himself as a von Karstein and he has von Karstein blood in him, but he's actually a mutt. And when you read the Ulrika series, they kind of explore that. And the vampire that turned him, so his mother in darkness, is a Lamian. Now she has exchanged blood with a von Karstein, so she ends up passing on like both to him. But like technically, under the strictest definitions, the big bad vampire from Vampire Slayer is actually a Lamian vampire. Yes, Adolphus Krieger. Yeah. I'm finishing the Nagash trilogy. I'm so sorry. You shouldn't have read it. It's so garbage. Should I read Neferata yet? Next. Yeah, Neferata's fun. Neferata's all right. So I would do Neferata and Master of Death after that. Yeah, they're pretty good. Thoughts on him not starting in Nagashazar? It's for the best. Starting him in Nagashazar would have technically, if we're looking at the wider lore, been the best, would have made the most sense. But Creative Assembly, they actually answered this on the Vampire Count stream that they did the other day, where basically what they said was, because the Black Pyramid is so central to Nagash's mechanics, and his campaign literally revolves around the Black Pyramid, plus Nagashazar is a very, very hostile starting location. It's very difficult to get to because it's designed for you to move through, like it's just a pain in the ass to get to. So if Nagash was going to start in Nagashazar, there's a whole bunch of shit that would have to get done. So like, how is Nagash going to get to Nagashazar and leave Nagashazar easily? Because Nagashazar is like super fucking hard to get out of. Like it takes multiple turns and it's really hostile and there's so many mountains around it. So it's like, okay, are you going to give Nagash the underway stance? Like, is he going to have the tunneling stance? He shouldn't. There's no reason for Nagash to have the tunneling stance, and it doesn't really make sense for him. But if you don't give him the tunneling stance, then leaving Nagashazar is going to be like super annoying, to like constantly be going back and forth. Whereas if you leave it as something he has to acquire and he's got to like make his way there and stuff, it makes more sense. But what I will say is that from what the CA team has said, going to Nagashazar as Nagash, there are prizes that make it worth the trip. So there are things waiting for the player in Nagashazar. Parmesia, what is your thoughts on Dracofeld Sotek? I like the mechanic, but would love to see him as a hero. Possesses only generic / legendary heroes for the time being in the battlefield. So, Dragonfells. All right. Here we go. I have a hot take. A lot of people aren't going to like this, so I'm going to be really, really honest with you guys. So, like most people, like the vast majority of people, I had not taken the time in my life to sit down and read the Genevieve series. I fixed that this summer. So earlier this summer, I got through the entire Genevieve series. I read everything Kim Newman wrote for Warhammer. This was an interesting experience and was very enlightening. I highly recommend the Genevieve series. It is very weird. It is super weird because it was written for Warhammer when Warhammer was very, 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 very different. So there are some things you'll go, oh, that makes sense. And then you'll hear one section and go, I'm sorry, what? So here's the thing. Drakenfels is kind of a giant poser. Drakenfels is kind of a loser. I'm so he's just kind of a big dork. He's really not that great of a character. He's a fraud. I'm gonna be honest. Nagash, for those that don't know, Nagash is just Drakenfels 2.0. Drakenfels kind of hit a weird point where they weren't really sure what to do with him. And there was all kinds of other annoying nonsense going on with the character, and they weren't sure if they owned him, and it was a whole thing. And Nagash essentially replaces Drakenfels, but is just a much better character. Drakenfels himself is not that impressive. Like he's cool, he's fun, he's got a lot of aura to him, but he just kind of dies and then he's dead. That's it. The end. I honestly thought for the longest time, because I had consumed most of what I knew about Drakenfels from like secondhand sources, I had always thought that Drakenfels was like Vandal Savage from DC Comics, where he's like immortal and he can't die, right? And then you actually read the book, and it turns out Drakenfels can totally die. It's actually barely an inconvenience to kill him in the grand scheme of things. He's very, very powerful. Like, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Drakenfels is incredibly powerful. He is a nightmarishly over the top big bad villain. But he is surprisingly vulnerable to being stabbed to death. Now, the thing that makes Drakenfels a fraud IMO is that I was under the understanding that Drakenfels literally just can't be killed. And when you read the novel, what actually happens is Drakenfels explains it. And what Drakenfels basically explains is that he's not immortal and he's not invulnerable. He is incredibly powerful. He's so strong that he cannot die unless he wants to, basically. But Drakenfels has a problem, which is that, once again, he's not immortal. So Drakenfels ages like everybody else. So Drakenfels gets old. He gets old and his body gets frail and it starts to break down and he starts like rotting and decaying, and he can keep himself going, but like he gets weaker and weaker. So he body hops. So like the whole thing behind Drakenfels' quote unquote immortality is that he jumps to new bodies when he gets to like old. So if you've actually seen the 2003 Full Metal Alchemist show, he's actually much more like Dante and Hohenheim from that show than he is like any other form of immortality. So he body hops in order to keep himself going. And when you get to the Drakenfels novel, basically he... I want you to listen to how stupid this plan is. I want you to listen how fucking dumb his plan was. Drakenfels' plan, spoilers for a 30-year-old, 40-year-old novel. Drakenfels' plan was that he was gonna have a guy kill him, and then that guy, he was basically gonna let this guy come meet him, and he was like, hey, I'm gonna make you super powerful, and I'm gonna make you the emperor, and I'm gonna make you super cool, and like you're gonna be like the greatest man in the world, and if you agree to do that, I won't kill you. And the guy was like, cool, I don't want to die. So then Drakenfels goes, okay, so you're gonna kill me, and really it's like Drakenfels killing himself, but he's like, you're gonna kill me, and I'm gonna tell you the ritual that you need to perform in order to resurrect me. And the guy's like, cool, I'll make sure to do that. So Drakenfels literally kills himself. And does a really big over the top death to really sell it, to like really sell that he's dead. And he is dead. Like he just full on fucking dies. He's completely, unironically, fully dead. And he basically left behind instructions of like, go do this thing to resurrect me. And so the big bad of the story, because he is ambitious and he wants to become like immortal emperor, he's like, okay, I'm going to resurrect Drakenfels. So he does the whole song and dance, and Drakenfels is resurrected in the body of a Drakenfels is resurrected in the body of a cultist who basically worships Drakenfels. And the guy starts turning into Drakenfels, and he starts, like, you get the big final climax where Drakenfels is there. He's going to assassinate Karl Franz, and he's going to kill all the Elector Counts, and he's going to put the pawn that he had among the Elector Counts as the new emperor. And he's like, haha, I'm coming back to life. I have returned from death. And he's like super big and scary and shit. And fucking Ulrika does nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's the fucking playwright, Detlef Sierck, which Detlef Sierck is just Warhammer's, he's just Warhammer's, Shakespeare. So he's Warhammer Shakespeare. Except for he always does his own plays. So he's like vaguely athletic, but he's like a dude in his mid-20s, who has never like done much real fighting ever in his life. And he's a genius. Like he's a very, very smart, gifted playwright and a very gifted actor. And he's kind of a goofball. But Detlef Sierck picks up a random hammer. It's not a special hammer. It's not Gomeraz. It's not magic or any of that. He just picks up a random hammer and he's like, Sigmar, help. And his hammer starts to glow and Drakenfels goes, uh-oh. And then like Detlef runs at him and Drakenfels is like, oh, and he bonks Drakenfels on the head and kills him. And that's it. Drakenfels dies. And I was like, oh, okay, this is the end of the first novel. So surely in the following novels, there will be stories about Drakenfels resurrecting. Nope, he's just fucking dead. He's dead, and he stays dead for the rest of the entire series. He never comes back. There is not a single time he ever comes back to life. He's just fucking dead forever. Like he just gets bonked on the face with a hammer and he's fucking gone. He's gone for the rest of time. And I was like, this is Drakenfels? Like when he was alive, he is the stuff that he actually does. He is genuinely one of the most powerful characters in the setting. But he had one of the dumbest fucking plans that has ever existed ever, where he's like, oh, I want to inhabit a body, but like I'm gonna take a 30-year nap, so like I'm gonna let you kill me so I can sleep for 30 years and then I'm gonna come back. It was like, what? and then he just dies, and he's so goofy. Like he's incredibly powerful and he just dies in the dumbest fucking way possible and he never comes back, and it's just really sad. Like I was for sure, I was just waiting. I kept waiting for the book where it would be like the return of Drakenfels, and it never happens. Like there are artifacts of his that are problems in later books, but they're just items that are like, I'm gonna get revenge from my master, and they like go off and do silly shit. And like they're scary. Like all of the stuff that he made and owns is really scary. But yeah, no, he kind of sucks. So like, I don't really think he should be a legendary hero because he's kind of a massive loser. Is that Nagash's tech tree? Basically, yes. Yeah. It's essentially his tech tree combined with another set of mechanical ideas, and it's fucking ridiculous, and I love it. So anyway, yeah. Okay, let me get caught up on super chat stuff. Parmecio, what are your thoughts on Drakenfels? I like the mechanic, but I would love to see him as a hero. Possesses only generic / legendary heroes for time being in the battlefield. Yeah, so Drakenfels, the fact that Drakenfels got turned into a poltergeist ghost thing that can possess an entire regiment's worth of people is how he works in the end times. So in the end times, he is literally an invisible spirit that can possess like dozens of people at a time very easily. So interpreting him in Total War as an invisible force that you can attach to one of your legendary lords, and he can possess any unit that your opponent has. So like your opponent has a unit of Regiment of Renown, that's yours now. Or that nope, that's Drakenfels, that's his now. Or like, oh, your opponent has like a big fuck you monster. Nope, fuck you, that's Drakenfels' now. Like, I think that's actually super duper duper cool. I think that's a really fun mechanic. That makes him very powerful. That he doesn't have to pay a currency for it. He just grabs somebody. Like, he just points at someone and says, oh, no, fuck you, this guy's mine. And I think that's really good, and it's a really good representation of what he actually does in the end times, and it's very, very, very scary. I think it works for him, and it's a good interpretation of the character. I know some people would have loved like the full Drakenfels in the game, but like I just don't fuck with Drakenfels after reading the books. Like I think historically he's a very important character for Warhammer, but I think he's grossly overhyped. There, what does Vlad and Neferata think about each other, and what would happen if they met? I imagine it is a fairly complex relationship, and it's really kind of anybody's guess of how it would go. For those that don't know, according to the lore, I wouldn't be surprised if Games Workshop overwrites this. I hope they don't, because it's a really cool story. But according to the older lore, Vlad and Neferata were married. So Vlad von Karstein, who was known as Vashanesh during his time when he lived in Nehekara, he was a great prince of Kimri, and he basically went to Lamia and he impressed the fuck out of Neferata, and he was the last person to drink from her original elixir that turned him into a vampire, and he married her, and he was her he was her second husband, first husband. He was her first husband. But he ends up abandoning her after he is quote unquote killed. He pretends to die fighting Alcatazar, and the vampires scatter. He abandons her at that point, and he runs away to the distant north, and she goes a slightly different direction. And as far as we know, they never meet each other again. They never encounter one another again. Vlad ends up staying in Kislev for a long time, which Neferata is over at the Silver Pinnacle. So like they were relatively nearby each other. So it's possible, hypothetically, that they ran into one another again. But we don't know. And then eventually, of course, he goes down to Sylvania, where he marries Isabella under the name of Vlad von Karstein. And he originally only married Isabella because, like, he wanted the Elector Count position, essentially. But then after he married Isabella, he genuinely falls in love with her. And one of the things that's really interesting, me and Andy did an episode on Lorebeards. If anybody wants to watch, I would highly recommend it. Andy and I did an episode on Vlad von Karstein on Lorebeards, which, fun fact, is probably one of the most controversial episodes we ever did. There was a lot of people that got really pissed at us about that episode, because we really challenged a lot of people's perceptions about Vlad and Isabella's relationship and what Vlad was like as a person. I'm really, really proud of that episode, and I think it was super duper cool. I would highly recommend watching it if you've never watched it, the Lord Beards episode on Vlad von Karstein. It was genuinely a banger episode. But one of the things about Isabella and Neferata is if you actually look at their artwork, especially the actual like original art pieces that were made for them, Isabella and Neferata look very similar. They look very physically similar. It is not a stretch, in my opinion at all, to suggest that Vlad saw a lot of Neferata in Isabella, especially when, you know, Neferata was younger. And that played a lot into why he fell in love with her, which is a very complicated, tragic situation that is very, very interesting. Yes, Manfred von Karstein, so Vlad's son in darkness. Manfred did go to the Silver Pinnacle. Manfred and Neferata, we know for a fact, have spoken, and they have dealt with one another. Go watch the Lorebeards episode on Neferata, and also go watch the Lorebeards episode on Manfred. We've done episodes on all three of those goofballs. Excuse me. Prodaki, cheers, Sotek. I'm also reading through the Nagash trilogy. So sorry. Acknowledging already your distaste for it, what topics / details should readers keep in mind to separate between the novels and game / lore? So, okay, the biggest thing you need to keep in mind when reading the Nagash trilogy are the following things. Number one, okay, I will explain to you some fundamental truths, and as you read the novels, you will likely come across things that will make you go, oh, that's why he doesn't like it. So, number one, the Nehekaran gods are incredibly active before, during, and after the reign of Nagash. So, when you read the books and what happens in that book, keep in mind that the Nehekaran gods are an incredibly active force that also defeat Nagash. Nagash loses the first Great War against the Nehekarans. So when all the armies of the Priest Kings gang up on him, Nagash loses that war, primarily because of the combined efforts of those armies, but most importantly, the powers of the gods themselves. Second thing to keep in mind is that Archon the Black dies defending Nagash at the final battle of the Black Pyramid, and his body is supposed to stay there until Nagash goes all the way back he leaves the Black Pyramid, he wanders off into the desert and the Great Lands, the Great Horrible Badlands, and into the mountains, and he eventually finds his way to Nagashazar. And once he's in Nagashazar, he builds up a lot of power, and one of the early things that Nagash does is he resurrects and brings Archon back to him. The third thing to keep in mind is that Neferata has to create the elixir. Neferata is the first vampire. She is an incredibly intelligent, gifted alchemist, priestess, noble, and scientist. And she is the one that discovers the elixir and creates it and controls it. And she gives it to her closest council. And then fucking Ushorin steals a sip because he's a little shit. The fourth thing to keep in mind is that it's called the Nagash trilogy, and yet Nagash really only features in one of the books. So, I want you to keep all 4 of those things in mind when you read those books. Actually, no, I'm going to add 2 more things. The 5th thing is that the Nehekarans are not 8-foot tall demigods. The Nehekarans are normal humans. They are normal humans. They are not super gigantic, because if they were super gigantic, then all of the Tomb King's corpses, all of the bones, the skeleton bones, should have been super gigantic. The Ushabti have always been statuary, not people. And the thing is that the Tomb King's modern Tomb King lore was written before this Black Library trilogy. So Mike Lee doesn't have the defense of like, oh, he wrote it like during the Undead Legion or the Undead book in 5th edition, so the Tomb Kings hadn't been written yet. No! The Tomb King lore had already been written, and Mike Lee was just like, ah, fuck this, I'm gonna write my own shit. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, it's so bad. From what I remember, Bones, from what I remember, Nagash destroys the pack during the last battle between the gods, but dies to guns. Then later, the gods can't intervene and the land is losing its blessing. Yeah, see, the problem is that doesn't make any fucking sense. Because the whole thing with the gods is that the gods are still empowering the Tomb Kings 4,000 years later, 3,000 years later. So thousands of years later, they are still playing an incredibly key role in the strength and power of the Tomb Kings. But according to the Nagash books, according to the Nagash books, all of the power of the Nehekaran gods is in one person, one woman, a singular woman. And she has to have a daughter that it then passes down to. So if that woman dies for any reason, so like she gets sick and dies, or she's killed by demons, or a chaos cultist, or a greenskin, or she has no kids because maybe she's like barren or has miscarriages, or like she's assassinated by like a rival nation. Like if anything happens to her, then the pact with the gods has been broken and all of Neherkar is just instantly fucked. Like it is the dumbest fucking bullshit ever. It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Everqueen style? Yeah, but they're humans. They're not elves. And once again, according to his written lore, like the god's power is absolutely broken by Nagash. So then you should turn around and go, okay, well then why the fuck are the Tomb Kings like still able to do anything? You know, the Tomb Kings, that their gods are so powerful that they are moving around statuary in order to defend them. And oh my god, I get so like Mike Lee's like, oh, you know how like the Tomb Kings are a dead obsessed culture, and the army book that's already out says that all the Ushabtis and the Tomb Scorpions and all that shit already exists, and it's like they are literal statues that are animated by the gods and magic to move around and do shit. And Mike Lee goes, nah, that's fucking stupid. I'm gonna make a Tomb Scorpion that's a construct made by human engineers, and it's made with like gears and like it's a machine. It's a robot. It's literally a robot. So it's not a moving statue. It is a beep boop steampunk machine. Like what? I hate those books. They're terrible. It's about like a completely different setting. It's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. He didn't read anything, and it's so obvious, and it pisses me off. It's like someone described the Tomb Kings to him, and he just was like, oh, okay. Like, I'll put it this way. Mike Lee only ever wrote books for 40K. He wrote books for 40K, and the only time he ever wrote fantasy was the Nagash trilogy. And it fucking shows. It fucking shows. Oh, those books make me mad. Those books make me mad. Mad, I say. Necromancer Comod. Oh boy, can't wait for a new Helmund Gorse campaign. Honestly, Gorse is going to be really super cool now. Oh yeah, I gotta finish this series now. Thanks, Sotek. Yeah, we really need to do a Lorebeards episode for a Tuesday stream where we just go fucking ham on that book, on those books. Yeah, Netflix adaptation of Tomb Kings. That's exactly what that is. Yeah, the Nagash trilogy. That is a perfect description. That is the perfect description. It is the Netflix adaptation of the Tomb Kings lore. Is it any dumber than the Imperial Mechanical Horses? Yes, because the Tomb Kings use moving statues for everything. They're necrotechs designed giant statuary and constructs made of marble, gold, jade, stone, and there's no robot parts. The Empire has engineers that were trained by dwarfs, and they use gunpowder and gears and steam engines. Is a clockwork horse stupid? Yes. But is it an Empire brand of stupid? Yes. So I don't have a problem with it. If the Tomb Kings are showing up with clockwork horses, now I have a problem with it because it doesn't fit their style. And it kills me. It kills me. Ugh. Hey, so what are we looking at? They released a blog on Nagash where they went over all his mechanics. So this is his like tech tree mechanic thing for the Black Pyramid. It's super fucking cool looking. Oh, I understand. They turned the Magi engineering into non-Magi engineering. Yes, that is exactly it. He removed all the magic from it. He removed all of the Tomb King's magic and made it into something else completely different. And like, I want to be really clear. It is not the only bad Black Library book. There are tons of bad Black Library books. They're all over the place. You can literally walk up to a fan of any setting, whether it's Warhammer 40K, Age of Sigmar, maybe the one exception would probably be the Blood Bowl guys. I think the Blood Bowl guys are happy with all their books. But you can walk up to basically anybody that enjoys any kind of Games Workshop property, and if there's Black Library books about it, there is at least some books that are trash. There are some garbo books. Do you dislike the use of Cathane gunpowder in those books? I'm going to rephrase that to answer your question. Do I think it makes sense in the Nagash trilogy for there to be Cathane gunpowder? Yes, I do. Do I think the way the book handles the defeat of Nagash, where Nagash has somehow never seen a gun in his entire life, despite the fact that he has been around for centuries at this point, and he has dealt with dwarfs, he has dealt with the city of Lamia, and he's dealt likely with the Cathans, and they go, oh yeah, he's never seen a gun before in his life. And when a bunch of guys walk up to him with guns, he goes, oh, one of those. And they shoot him in the face. That part I have a huge problem with because it's fucking stupid. It completely invalidates how the Nehekarans defeated Nagash. Because it basically reduces the story. It reduces the story down to the Nehekarans are barbarians. The Nehekarans are stupid, ignorant fucking idiots that have never, they're so technologically backwards that they don't understand what a gun is. But thank God, Cathay gave them boomsticks, and they walk out in front of Nagash, and he is completely caught off guard and unprepared for, ooh, technology, and they shoot him and he dies. It's really fucking dumb. It is one of the stupidest ways they could have resolved Nagash's defeat. And it completely invalidates the storyline of the Nehekarans. And I really hate that it basically goes, oh, well, the Lamians are ultimately able, Lamashazah is able to defeat Nagash because he traded with a foreign empire for a technology that Nagash was too stupid to figure out. Like, it's just complete fucking bullshit. Complete fucking bullshit. And it's dumb and I hate it. So, yeah. Sorry. Like, sorry, that got me off on the whole thing. Starling, thank you so much for the 7 months. I really apologize for not catching that till now. Necromancer Cobalt, what races / factions that are not part of the DLC / FLC do you think the benefit the most from this DLC's existence? Beastmen, as always. Beastmen are the ultimate, like, leeches for, like, the last 5 DLCs. And they are continuing to get that good suck off of all of the DLCs. We're getting a Path of Exile train Total War. We are indeed. We are indeed. He built a pyramid that could fly but never saw gunpowder. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Beastmen being the ultimate scrap kings. Zevel, Sotek, do you think there's a chance we'll get Zacharias? I'll do you one better, Zevel. I think it's guaranteed that we will get Zacharias the Everliving before the game stops getting support. Which is no time soon. I hear Beastmen have dark and sick lore. Any book recommendations? For Beastmen? Yes. For Beastmen, the best novels are get the Bretonian Omnibus. The Bretonian Omnibus, especially book 1, has a very, very good Beastmen story. I would also recommend Gotrek and Felix. The first Gotrek and Felix book, Troll Slayer, has some really, really good old Beastmen short stories. And then the Gotrek and Felix story, Shaman Slayer, heavily features the Beastmen, and it's very, very kick-ass. And I would also recommend the Elves Omnibus, which has a book in it that I think it's called Defenders of the Forest or Defender of the Forest, something like that. Which features Morgars in it, and it's really fucking cool. That book is like really fun. That book also does a really good job of showing how fucking terrifying Ethel Loren is because of like the weird timey-wimey shenanigans. Archaon's novels, the Archaon duology. So Archaon and Archaon the Everchosen. I think those are the 2 books. They have some pretty cool Beastman stuff. Malice Darkblade has some good Beastman stuff. They don't have like the Beastmen don't really have a novel where they're the main character. They're always just kind of the antagonist. But to be fair, they also show up in a fuck ton of books. How the hell do you write a book so bad you screw up like 4 major factions / entities within the lore, and each in a more insufferable way than the last? Couldn't tell you, dude. Listen, there is nothing more egregious to me in those books than the fucking Archon the Black Neferata love story. That, oh my god. That story is so bad. That story is so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, God. He's like, oh, you know, one of the most powerful women in the entire setting? I'm actually going to make her a helpless damsel in distress that's too stupid to figure out anything on her own. So, she's going to fall in love with a burnt, undead body of bones that has no flesh or anything, and she's gonna fall in love with him, and he's gonna be like, oh no, I love her, even though I'm a lich and I'm not really supposed to have any real emotions like that, and it's supposed to be a core dilemma of my character that I don't know if I'm really me or if I'm just a puppet of Nagash. But no, I'm gonna fall in love with this woman, and she's gonna be too stupid, and she's gonna basically kill or die, and then I'm gonna create the elixir of immortality for her, and I'm gonna give it to her, and that's gonna save her, because that makes her story so much better if she's completely robbed of all of her agency and is actually like a fucking moron. Like that book literally slanders every single fucking character that's in it. Like it's so stupid. What's the TLDR of the dev blog? Nagash's campaign looks super fucking sick. And he probably has one of the best looking tech tree / mechanic systems that has ever been in the game, just due to the sheer amount of options that you have, to the point that it looks like a Path of Exile skill tree, and it looks fucking great. It looks like it's probably overpowered as fuck, but like in a really fun way. Archon is such a baddie though, who wouldn't? I don't necessarily disagree, but like Archon should only have eyes for Nagash, let's be real. I actually never knew that the guns were a major point in how to defeat Nagash. That sounds a lot more awful. Oh, it's terrible. It's super bad. Yeah, Nehekara gets their asses like absolutely rocked by Nagash. Like they just lose. And then saviors with guns show up. The only part I liked about the books is the Skaven really made me feel really made me like them. Also, how he forced to crown the ether scream during. Yeah, there's some fun parts. Not every single page is garbage. There are some okay parts. But most of it is trash. Okay. Problem when I talk too much is it gives me like a stuffy nose. It's really annoying. All right. So that is us done with the article, which I need to chop up and make it into a video. I need to send out a message really quick. Show crane, scope, skull crane or scroll crane. Sorry, I butchered that either way. Hey, why is Games Workshop kind of protective of its IPs, but someone like Mike Lee can describe everything GW did? Okay, so Black Library is not part of the head studio. Okay, so Black Library and Games Workshop are two slightly different entities. Games Workshop is the head studio, and Black Library is its own thing over here. So Black Library makes, publishes, and prints books, and it's kind of able to sort of do its own thing. But because of that, the guys over here at the main studio who write all of the army books, and they like determine what the core lore is, they don't really pay attention to what these guys are doing because they don't really give a fuck what they're doing. These guys are just here to like make books that stupid fat nerds like me buy and make them easy money that encourages people to buy the plastic toys that these guys over here at the main studio are trying really, really, really hard to sell because it's really high quality, but it's also really overpriced. And they're trying to make big number always go up. And the head studio maintains their own lore system. But like they make mistakes and they make goofs and they retcon a lot of things, and they have honestly forgotten more than you could imagine. Like they have forgotten so much of their own stuff, because a lot of the time the people that are writing this material don't how do I say this? Games Workshop does not have a dedicated person or team whose job it is to like keep track of the lore and make sure everything is correct, like you might expect from, say, Tolkien, right? So like Tolkien for the longest time had his son, and Christopher Tolkien spent basically his entire life like collating all of his father's material and like publishing it in like various chunks, and like tried really hard to maintain a very tight grip on the Tolkien lore, right? But that's a singular individual controlling another singular individual's worth of writing. When you're dealing with Games Workshop, you are dealing with dozens and dozens and dozens of writers who all have their own different ideas, and they all have their own different takes. And the biggest thing you have to understand about Games Workshop as a company, I'm not talking about the individuals at the company, because every individual is going to be different, but as a full company, Games Workshop does not give a fuck about the lore. They don't give a fuck. As far as they're concerned, the only thing that matters is selling plastic toys. They want to sell you minis, they want to sell you paint, they want to sell you just all of the garbage they can possibly pump out. And I say that as someone that buys all of that garbage, and it's very precious to me. And I have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on it, and I'm going to continue spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on it. Games Workshop, the lore is not their core concern. Their core concern is getting you to buy their miniatures, and everything else is secondary. So when they make a mini, they will create a mini, and then they will go to someone and say, hey, I need you to write up a story for this plastic toy I just made so that people will buy it. And the lore writers have to go, oh shit, okay. And they have to fit whatever it is that just got printed into whatever the story is. So this will just take, this is why we get really weird retcons. So they'll be like, oh yeah, no, that thing that we just made that's brand new, yeah, no, that's actually been there the entire time. Yeah, no, that weapon that didn't exist, well, they just rediscovered it, and it's actually incredibly old. Or, oh yeah, no, that character that was canonically dead, yeah, no, turns out he's not dead, because our advertising branch told us that people really want to buy that character, so we're gonna make more of that character. And so you have this whole system where the tabletop game and the rules don't matter, because the tabletop game and the rules are there to get you to buy the plastic toys. If Games Workshop was a company that prioritized running a good game, then they would be very careful about playtesting their rules, and they wouldn't have a strict 3-year cycle on editions, because that is horrifically fast for getting people to buy the same essential books over and over and over and over again, because your old books are going to get outdated freakishly fast. Because 3 years is just not that long of a time, especially when you think about the amount of time it takes for your army to get like updated, and then you're on a ticking time bomb until the end of that edition. And they'll just squat stuff, you know, where they're like, oh yeah, you know that miniature that like is a core part of the lore and identity of your faction? Well, we don't want to print that mold anymore, so it's going to Legends, and it's no longer part of the setting. So we're not going to write about it. It's not going to show up in any of the stories. You're not going to get any pictures of it. Fuck you. We're not going to do it. So that's what it boils down to, is that there, and I want to be so crystal clear here. There are people at Games Workshop who love Warhammer lore. They love the stories. They love writing about the stories, but their job isn't to know everything. And they work on very strict timetables where they have to get a certain amount of material out in a certain amount of time. And they're just making shit up, right? Like, all this is made up. Everything's completely made up. None of it's real. It's literally just like what popped into somebody's head one day. And is it fair to like Bob that he is expected to write a story about this faction? And like, they're like, hey, Bob, we need you to write like a 500-page book. We need you to write a 300-page book, like a couple, like, you know, pretty solid word count about this character. And Bob's like, okay, can you tell me a little bit about the character? And they're like, okay, here are some bullet points about them. And here's the most recent book we wrote about it. Now, should Bob be expected to be like, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to go research 40 years worth of what other guys wrote, a lot of which has been retconned or is no longer relevant, to make sure that I can write the most accurate version for this book that I have to write within like 3 months? No, because Bob doesn't have fucking time for that shit. And Games Workshop doesn't want to pay anybody to be the guy that keeps up with all of that shit and then is able to go to Bob and be like, okay, here's the stuff you need to know. Or to editors. Games Workshop doesn't want to pay editors that actually know the material. Because that's not what their business is about. And it sucks and I hate it. I know there's some people that are like, oh, well, that, you know, it's a company, it's a prerogative. It's like, nah, go fuck yourself. They should care about their IP. They should hire people that keep track of all the written material and help make it like focused and consistent and make sure that the worlds they're building make sense, but they don't want to because they're cheap. Because they are there to satisfy their investors, which means spending the least amount of money possible and making the most amount of money possible. And it's horrible and I hate it. Holy shit, Skullcrane. Jesus Christ, dude. God damn. A, thank you for becoming a sub. And B, thank you for the 50 fucking gift subs. Jesus, that is incredibly generous. Thank you. Apparently, I need to bitch about GW more often. Thank you. That's very, very kind. That's incredibly kind. Thank you so much. Wow, fuck, that's very generous. If you got a gift sub from Skullcrane, please thank them. Like, good lord. Yeah, I mean, okay, hold on. That inspires me to keep my rant going for just a second longer. Hold on. So here's the thing, right? A lot of people ask me why I don't like 40K. Like, why I don't fuck with 40K. That's not true. That's not true. I need to be very, very honest. I don't like 40K as a setting because I don't like the Imperium. And the Imperium is the setting. Like, I love the Tyranids, but the Tyranids just don't fucking matter. Which sucks, because they're really cool. But the reason I don't like 40K is because I feel like it isn't what it's advertised to be, and that frustrates me. So right now, I am reading through the Horus Heresy. I have started my Horus Heresy journey, which randomly, I will say, would y'all be interested in me making like book review videos where like I'm a fantasy fan that's reading 40K, 30K for the first time, and this is what I think of this book. I finished 3 books as of the other day. So I've done Horus Rising, I've done False Gods, and I've done Galaxy in Flames. And I have thoughts to say the least. But one of the biggest things that strikes at me is you can really tell that 40K was intended to be grimdark. And when I say grimdark, and there's a really good stream about this, mods or Hawk, I don't know if you're still around. Give me a confirmation if you are or not before I finish that sentence. But there's a really good pair of streams that I would recommend going to watch over on the Rookery Publications channel, which the Rookery Publications is the company run by Andy Law, who is my co-host and the co-owner and co-founder, along with myself, of Lorebeards. And Rookery Publications is a different company that he is also a co-owner of. And that is a YouTube channel where basically it's a lot of the people that have written and created all of your favorite fantasy and sci-fi settings sitting around yapping for an hour with guests who have also created all of your favorite random fantasy and 40K settings. And the fact that more people don't watch it is genuinely fucking criminal because it's a fascinating show. And just this past week, they had Jess Goodwin on there. Jess Goodwin, who created the fucking Space Marines. Like, if you're like, what's a Space Marine? What's a Tyrannid? What's a Skaven? Jess Goodwin created them. He literally made them. And they had a big chat with him about John Blanche, who sadly passed away, who is a ridiculously influential figure in 40K, especially. But anyway, so like they have the episode from this past week, or this past weekend, which was with Jess Goodwin talking about the life and legacy of John Blanche, which was fantastic. But then also the other week they did one about grimdarkness. Like, where does grimdarkness come from? What is grimdark? Obviously, like, the term comes from the intro to 40K. You know, in the far future, it's a grimdark universe. Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the thing for me, right? The thing that gets my gab about 40K is that it doesn't feel like it's supposed to, in my opinion. Of that, the original 40K was grimdark in the sense that it's a very over the top, everything fucking sucks. Everything fucking sucks. Everybody's shit. The closest thing to main characters are this incredibly over the top, tyrannical, words. This like tyrannical, evil fucking human government that is just like, it's the worst regime imaginable, is literally in the intro sequence. And I find it frustrating that if you don't know the history of 40K, like the IRL history, and you go into it, it works too hard to try and convince you that Space Marines are the good guys. And it's because that's what sells. Like, if you're trying to make money, you need to sell people on the hero fantasy. You need to sell people on the last stand. You need to sell people on they're the good guys, because that's what, like, that's the common denominator for most people, most consumers, is most consumers that go in to play a game where there is multiple factions, they're gonna play John Good Guy, because it's just the easiest thing to slide into. And the thing that has always fucked with me about 40K is that it's this really weird situation where they're like, oh, these are the super hardcore good guys with the super brotherly fraternal aspect, but they're also like child soldier mutant monsters that are humans that are taken away from their humanity, and they're like ripped apart and stuffed with a bunch of extra organs and the genetics of these weird demigod like things that are not human at all, but we're going to pretend like they're human. And they should be grotesque, over muscular monsters, but the novels are like, they're beautiful, they're Adonis, they're the perfect representation of what it means to be human. And it's like, what? Excuse me? That what? What the fuck? Terrible. It's terrible. Anyway, okay. Are you allowed to talk about how we'll get Vermin Lords, or is that still NDA? Unfortunately, that is still NDA. Alex Con. Funny enough, actually, this is one of those rare scenarios where I cannot. How you get Vermin Lords in a Skaven campaign is one of the very rare circumstances where, yes, technically it is NDA, but I also have no fucking idea. I genuinely don't know, because the last time I saw a build of the Lord of the End Times, there was no explanation for how to get them, and I never figured it out. So I have no idea. I haven't actually seen one in game. Besides, I've seen Screech Vermin King, which I showed off earlier today, in today's stream. But like for the 4 other Vermin Lords, I haven't seen them. I have no idea how to get them. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Do I know what is NDA schedule? No. Actually, as of right now, there is no NDA schedule, because the only thing I have is the build that I just showed you guys. Which the build that I showed you guys has the Thanquol quest battle that we played this morning, and it has the 10-turn Boris campaign, and that's it. That's literally all that's on it. And that was it. So those are the only NDA things I have. Until the next update, I got nothing for you other than speculation. I mean, there are technically things that I know, but that falls under NDA. But the Vermin Lords is not one of them. Dasix, Elden Ring win tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will be continuing our Elden Ring campaign. I think they talked about a bit about a release schedule on the Undead Rework vid. Then yeah, you can check out that. So I will say this. Normally, this is not necessarily the case, but normally, when it comes to new content, the embargo for content creators showing off content is usually 2 weeks before release. Usually. Sticks and Stones, thank you for the super chat. I really wish Gorse had a mechanic about resurrecting his family, and you got some semi-unique White Kings or something. So there is a slight problem with that, Sticks and Stones. Is that it's already in the game. It is already in the game. Of that, Gorse did resurrect his family, and then he impaled them with sticks and made them into the corpse cart, and they drag him around. Like the corpse cart that he rides on, the zombies in the front, that's his family. That's all of them. That's his whole family right there. Because he was like, well, I want them to be close. Gorst is kind of a funny. Gorst is genuinely a very tragic character, but from a distance, he's a very funny character, because he started off with the idea of like, oh, I love my family so much. I'm willing to do anything to have them back. I will literally do anything to have my family back because I miss them and I need them and I can't live without them. And started learning necromancy, and somehow along the way he got corrupted to the point where he was like, well, I animated them and I've impaled them all on sticks and they drag me around so that we're always together, and they also like eat people that try to attack me. So like, you know, a family that slays together stays together. And don't do necromancy, kids. Don't stay away from dark magic. Shit fucks you up. Yeah, that's why it's called the Brothers Gorse Cart. Do you know if the celestial unit will be a mage mount? What celestial unit are you referring to? Oh, the celestial hurricanum? I don't know. I don't think so. The Luminarch of Hysh, I don't believe is a mount right now. And I believe the celestial hurricanum is being treated the same way. That is one of those things that if I would recommend y'all talk about in the forums. If y'all want the celestial hurricanum as a mount for Heaven's Wizards, and you want the Luminarch of Hysh as a mount for Light Wizards, that would be a really, really, really good thing to like politely be polite about it, but to ask for on the Total War forums and in the Total War Discord. Right now, in my personal tangos with CA, I am trying to convince them to make the Strigoi Ghoul King into a generic hero, because I think he would be so much better and more interesting. And I'm also trying to convince them to change one of the spells on the Necrarch Vampire Lord spell list, because they changed his spells from what it is in the live build. And the way he's currently designed, he won't have a damaging spell in his first 4. So, because he has like Invocation of Nehek, Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, Wizen's Wild Form, and like, I can't remember what the last one is. Oh, Raise Dead. Raise Dead. So he doesn't actually have a damage spell in his first 4, which I don't think that's a good thing. I think there should always be a damage spell in the first 4. Otherwise, it kind of forces players with those Wizard Lords to like spam the spells to level up so they can get to the fucking damaging spells. I had the same problem with Mazda Mundi and finally got that fixed. Raise Dead is a damage spell that do damage. Oh, shut up. You know what I meant. Will the Cauldron of 1,000 Poxes be a mount for Lord Skrulk? That falls under NDA, so no comment. I cannot answer that one way or the other. You mentioned Nagash's weapons are special and built to enhance his skills in specific ways. How so? What's so special about it? So Nagash is one of the best artisans of magical artifacts that you will find in the Warhammer world. He is an incredibly gifted forger of magical items. And the Crown of Sorcery being like a really good example, right? Nagash's other major magic items, which are Alakanash, his staff, Zephet Neftar, his sword, and Morakain, the black armor, which is his armor. They are all very, very carefully designed to push his physical form as close to godhood as possible. So the Alakanash basically draws the winds of magic to him and at a level that is absolutely obscene. It is like a super hardcore power charging staff. Zephet Neftar, his sword, is Nagash basically enchanted it with every rune he could think of that deals death. It is the art of harvesting souls and flesh made manifest. Because Nagash knows he is not the most, shall we say, gifted of duelist. So he designed the sword so that all he has to do is just nick you with it and you're fucked. Like you are completely fucked. It is one of those weapons where if he stabs you with it, you're gonna have a really bad time. Because it's death made manifest, especially when he's holding it and he is just juicing it with his own power. And then Morricaine, the black armor, is just designed to defend him from pretty much anything. It holds his physical body together and really keeps him going. But although he did not pour as much of himself into those items as he did the Crown of Sorcery, they are still rather significant. Sorry if this has been asked already, but can we expect any changes to Azhag regarding the upcoming release of Nagash? No. To my understanding, nothing has been done for Azhag. I would remind you all to keep in mind that the sheer size of 9.0 is absolutely fucking insane. Y'all still have not even seen half of it yet. There's a lot more to show, and they only have so much time and so much effort that they could put into so many things to get it ready in time. And Azhag unfortunately did make the cutting list. It could happen in the future. You know, there is a chance that maybe Azhag could get some attention to give him a bit of an interesting relationship with Nagash in the future. But for right now, no. Did the Crown of Sorcery ever do something more than take over everything that's not Orc? Or it never got back to its master? I'm not sure I fully understand the question, Shirajirajin. I mean, Nagash gets the crown back eventually in the end times. But he doesn't get it back until then. Rip super chat. Hold on, I'll find it. Sometimes y'all have to remind me. Yeah, sorry, I did miss this. I missed a couple actually. Vare, thank you for the super chat. Why do you think only Archaon has gotten new animations? I was really hoping that Vlad would get new animations. He's a permafoot lord and it looks like he thinks he's wielding a shield. Cheers. So I think how do I answer this? Archaon is featuring as the ultimate big bad of the entire trilogy of games. He is 10 years of effort and content culminating into a singular big bad. And they want to make sure that he is uniquely spooky and terrifying and really fits the bill. The other two lords that have full end time crises built around them are Thanquol, who is brand new to the game and also has a new exotic mount with Bone Ripper. So he has brand new animations, essentially. And Nagash, who I'm sure y'all have seen from like some of the footage and stuff, also has completely insanely unique animations. So the three major big bads of the game have completely custom animations that basically only they use. And once again, it's a matter of there just wasn't enough time. It is possible though that if people continue to ask for it politely, there is a chance that maybe at some point we could get updated animations for characters that are wielding a sword in one hand and nothing in the other hand. Because I agree with you, they look kind of fucking goofy. And it would be really, really nice to see all of the characters in the game that have a sword and then nothing have a different style of fighting from the people that have swords and shields. I think that would be something worth doing. Hell, I would also love to see like more of a duelist set of animations. So characters with like rapiers like Sigvald and stuff might fight a little differently. That'd be pretty cool as well. That might be something. If we ever get the Southern Realms, I could maybe see us getting like more like rapier type stuff, but we'll have to see. Hound of Ill Omen. Good to know Black Library Raiders can have Stronks too. I feel seen. Don't worry, they're doing 40k soon. Yeah. Excuse me. My voice is struggling. Raving 94. Any info about the magic of Archon? It's staying the same. It's staying the same. Archon the Black, to my understanding, if you play a Tomb King campaign, he is functionally the exact same. When he becomes a Mortarch, so if you're playing as Nagash and Archon becomes your Mortarch, then he is different. So he gets access to his unique mount. He has the mount that he rides. I can't remember. It's Ravizar or Rakazar or something. His Dread Abyssal. And I believe he gets some other kind of gimmick. So like he gets new toys to play with if you are playing as Nagash and you get him as a Mortarch. If you are playing a Tomb King campaign as Archon the Black, I don't think he's gonna be that different. He's gonna be a little different. I know something. I don't want to get super into it because I don't know what's gonna get through. But there were attempts being made by Creative Assembly to add some new bells and whistles to Archon the Black. But I don't know if they made it into the game in time. I have a lore request. What's the relationship between Nagash and the Vampire Coast and the Vampire Count Lords who are already in Total War but didn't make the cut to be among his Mortarchs in the lore? Wallflower Ninja. So between... Okay, so if you're asking what is the canonical relationship between Nagash and the other Total War vampires characters that are not his Mortarchs, relatively easy answers. So canonically, Count Noctilus is dead. Count Noctilus is killed well before Nagash is resurrected. So Noctilus is dead. Arnis Assault Spite is not a vampire. And also wouldn't have been on Team Nagash. Madame Solostra Dirfan didn't exist because she was a Total War original character. However, if you go play her original campaign in Warhammer 2 for the Vortex campaign, you actually get a really cool aftermath storyline with her where she ends up joining the Nameless. And it's implied that they go on to join Nagash together. Though obviously she doesn't exist in the original story and there's only 9 Mortarch slots. So there you go. Then for the Vampire Counts, Isabella von Karstein was oh god, this was a really stupid storyline. Isabella von Karstein's soul somehow, without any explanation whatsoever, was captured somehow by Nurgle, and Nurgle resurrects her into a vampire body somehow, and he also basically stuffs a great unclean one, so a greater demon of Nurgle, inside of her somehow, that basically like fucks with her memories and makes her like think that Vlad was like a super abusive husband that hated her and yada yada yada. So then she gets unleashed against the vampires as like an anti-vampire that leads the legions of Nurgle. Which was a really stupid storyline. So she's an enemy in the original story. And then Heinrich Himmler dies before Nagash comes back. He has his big duel with Archon the Black, and Archon the Black... Well, technically, Himmler kills himself on accident. Archon the Black was beating him in a duel, and then Himmler goes Super Saiyan, but his body can't handle it, and he explodes, and he dies. Which was a fairly genuinely funny way to kill Himmler. I was like, honestly, that fits. And then I think that's everybody, right? Oh, Gorst. Gorst was dead. Gorst dies during the events known as Sigmar's Blood, when the Grand Theogenes Volkmar the Grim invades Sylvania to kill Manfred von Karstein, and Gorst is the like big bad necromancer that's serving under Manfred, and he ends up fighting against Volkmar's army, and he gets killed by a witch hunter. And that's all. It was a thing. Porbecia, Sotek, Dark Elves versus Cathay DLC. What do you think? Yin Yin versus Talaris Dreadbringer. Sure, I'd buy it. I will admit, I would prefer if we got Vampire Coast versus Cathay DLC, Yin Yin versus a Jade Vampire Pirate Queen. That's what I want to stick up my ass. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like that would go all the way up there. Darkos would be cool. But like Vampire Coast, I would fuck with that. I want jade blooded vampires to be Vampire Coast. Because I feel like vampire counts are already really bloated when it comes to bloodline stuff. Mr. Lotenka, thank you so much for the bits. Man, Sotek, you are so much behind worth content. The Nagash blocks look so good, but I really wish you would make the VC hero ideas. I'm working on it! I would really like the Vampire Lord to stay. Make him hero, give him Lore of Shadows / Death, and remaining to the she-vampire, or just put him into the pool as a normal hero model with Ghoul King would be so awesome. I'm working on it! I can't stream and work on video scripts at the same time. Alright? Pick a lane! Dark Elves versus Vampire Coast versus Yin Yin. Now we're talking. Now, yeah, make it a 3-way. Thank you very much for the bits, Mr. Lotenka. I appreciate it. I'm probably going to be ending stream here in a minute. So that I can. Make some videos. Also, it's starting to get very warm because it's like 115 degrees or some stupid shit outside. Just clone yourself. I would, dude. I would love to test if self-cest is a thing for me or not. I don't think it would be, but like maybe in person it's different. You know? Raving, will Nagash only get his 9 big boys, or will he get all lords of the factions, etc.? So the Mortarchs is only those 9, but I don't know actually. I'm not sure if he could confederate other lords. I don't know. You'd have to ask CA. I actually do not know the answer to that. Invest your $1 billion into Sotek AI that will make videos over my fucking dead body. AI can go fuck itself in the most unpleasant way possible. Generative AI, I should say. No, I get fucking mad at goddamn YouTube constantly being like, you want AI thumbnails? You want AI thumbnails? It's like, fuck, shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. Do we get any news about the Nameless? Yes, he is an agent. So he's a follower. So he's a follower you attach onto a lord, and the lord that has him gains an ability that in the pre-battle screen, the Nameless can steal a unit. So you could steal literally any unit from the opponent army. So he's kind of like the Changeling, but where the Changeling can turn into heroes or lords, the Nameless steals units. So, there you go. And Google search being... Dude, man. Google's used to be so good, and it's so shit now. Oh my god, it's so much more difficult than it used to be. I just want things to be simple. Fucking hate AI. It pisses me off. If you would add AI into the Warhammer world, what faction would it be? Chaos Trolls? No, it would be the shit that the River Trolls... The wet, mulchy, fetid, pus-filled, bony scraps of literal poo that swamp trolls have on them that makes them give like -5 melee attack to everyone within 35 meters. Any updates to Archon you could tell? No, but there's going to be a stream tomorrow from CA about it. Pormesia, I would love Nagash after beating Cetra forcefully, making him one of his Mortarks would be fascinating. It wouldn't be Cetra though. Like that's the thing. As cool as that would be as a theoretical concept, it's not Cetra at that point. Cetra cannot would never. He would literally rather die and embrace his death very openly at that point. Could Neferata command a Necrosphinx? According to Total War, she can. Which, like, sure, why not? Any chances of Chaos Ogres of Undivided ever coming to the game? Is there a chance? Yes. Is it a big chance? I don't know. It seems like Creative Assembly isn't super interested in making variants for all of the things that hypothetically could have variants. So like all the different Chaos Ogres, all the different Minotaurs, all the different Centaurs. It really seems like Creative Assembly, or actually, to be honest, it seems much more that Games Workshop does not want them to do that. And that's kind of like a whole thing. I think with AI is a realistic approach. The genie's out of the bottle, but folks should use it as a tool to brainstorm with and not produce final products with. I think there are times, I think there are particular fields that it can be useful for, but I also think that it is something that needs to be like really reined in and really heavily regulated. Especially because at least like down in Texas, I am genuinely deeply worried about the extreme push for AI and how they're trying to build all these AI farms in my state that is putting a really serious strain on our already garbage electrical grid. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. I would rather cast it back to the Stone Ages. Or at the very, like, if someone wants to experiment and mess around with AI, I'm fine with that if they do it on their own goddamn shit. If they're powering it, if they're running it in their home server, but like it shouldn't be just shoved into everything like it is right now. And granted, it's because it's a bubble. Like, I don't know if it's ever going to burst, but it's a bubble right now where like the companies that are making the most money in the world at the moment are companies that are convincing idiots to invest in them because they're like, AI is the future and it's going to be able to do everything. And it's been like several years now and it can like barely do anything. So yeah, it's a fucking mess. It's a mess, but, we're not gonna get into that right now. With that, I hope you are all very excited for Lords of the End Times. We have less than a month to go because we're already past 11 a.m., which is usually when it will come out. So there is officially less than 31 days between now and everyone having their hands on Lords of the End Times. Of course, I do have codes if you're interested in picking any of it up and you want to support the channel while doing so, and also save more than you will with anybody else. I will also note that I am fully, utterly intending to do a shit ton of giveaways of Lord of the End Times keys. We're not quite there yet, but when we get there, I will do my damnedest to get as many people in the audience to get their grubby little paws on it as I can. But I don't think they're gonna give me keys until like way closer. But should be a good time. We only have 4 weeks to go, And Creative Assembly has actually been doing a pretty good job maintaining hype, and I don't think there's any sign of them slowing down. Honestly, it seems like they're kind of focusing on like a big lord a week. So last week, we got like Neferata. Wait, oh yeah, I guess they've only done Neferata. So we still gotta see the Glotkin. We still, I mean, we've seen a lot of Boris because of the whole thing we did. But like, I still think they're gonna do an article on Boris. We gotta get the article on the Glotkin. We gotta get the article on Thanquol and see all the bells and whistles. A lot to come, a lot to do, and I can't say what, but like maybe something cool is gonna happen tomorrow. Can't say what that might be, but maybe if you're a fan of Total War stuff, maybe, I don't know, something might happen tomorrow. But in any event, I gotta bounce because I am going to work on some scripts. And I am also going to record some videos and all that shit. Thoughts and words. I will be back to stream later today, 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt. Because I want and need a desire to play more Final Fantasy XIV. Which is going to be, I'll be doing a little bit of some cutscenes and stuff, so if you want to see me just fucking suck ass at voice acting, come on by and laugh at me, it's a good time. And I'll also be working on Eureka, which is just grind stuff, so we'll be talking about, Lords of the End Times and other nonsense in the midst of that. And, yeah, anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop out of here. In the meantime, I'm going to send y'all off on raids to various buddies of mine, some of which will be doing Total War, some of which may not. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, also, hold on. I forgot. I can show y'all something. Y'all want to see something great? Yeah. y'all want to see something good? So there's a video premiering right now. If you're on YouTube, I'll send you to it. YouTube, I'm going to send you this video, but there's a video out right now as we speak where I participated in a quiz show. I was on a Warhammer quiz show hosted by Willie Asso, which was super fucking fun. And they made custom images. That's not what I wanted. Sorry, hold on. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. There we go. Okay, so I want to show y'all I want to show y'all the image that they made for me for the quiz. So I would like y'all to meet where did I put it? Is it in here? What the fuck? What file did I put it in? Oh lordy. Oh, here it is. I love this so much. I love this so much. This is my favorite piece of art I have ever had. It speaks to me. There's just something about it that's so familiar. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's so good. That's very funny. Anywho, so I'm gonna send y'all off on raids and shit. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day. I will be back later tonight, as I said. So fucking it's my spirit animal. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have fun, have a good day. Okay, bye bye.